We are back for... Are we recording? We are recording. We're back for session 4. You're always in frame. It's always like... I can never get to, like, just focus on
It's
me.
Mike or Nick.
Yeah.
Adam's camera loves Nick, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, and Meeting L usually doesn't love me unless I've been talking for a while.
So, we're back for session 4. It zipped right to me. Did you see that? We're back for session 4. Secrets of Swanzi. The Kickstarter is over. Thank you all for those who pledged. Thank you for those who shared on social. 1,465 new backers total. I just shared with the group earlier that 69%. I'm not even kidding. Nice. We're all new backers who never backed an entire Zweihander campaign. So it's promising. Hopefully, I'm signaling that people who play D&D are trying it out. Anyway, we're back with the Grown Perilous Studios crew to play probably our last session of Secrets of Swanzi. We'll see what happens tonight. Some big decisions to be made. But let's just go ahead and jump right in. Let's go ahead and do our... Let's do our initiative. So, Tim, you want to grab our initiative ladder here? And Nick, would you do me a favor while you're over there? Would you move that Starscream figure from the monitor? It's blocking the recording button, so I can't see anything. Perfect, thank you.
That's a very Starscream thing to do, right?
That is a Starscream thing to do.
He is Starscream. One thing viewers are probably noticing already, our lighting is new. It's different. I removed the layout from behind us. I changed the lighting overhead, color corrected everything, got our actual microphone working, so the sound, the audio, and the visual should be way better this time.
I think I went the other way last night, too.
15.
Hey, Geppetto.
What's your bonus?
Just decide who goes first.
6.
Okay.
Wah, wah.
So,
Fala.
who's 15? You're 15 too, Rapala? You guys are messing this up.
Yeah, I'm 15 as well.
Nick, where you at here?
12.
Wah, miserable.
Matt?
18. I rolled a 10.
I did too, so...
Okay, well then, you go first.
There we go.
What?
Week. I said you can go first.
Decide who goes first. You don't have to look at anything. You just
Oh, we
decide.
don't look at anything anymore? Okay.
Yeah, just be like, I want to go. Cool, you go first. Perfect.
Whatever order it's in.
So while Tim is working on the initiative ladder, everybody roll a d6 cast out. See how many fortune points you start with. Any sixes? Any sixes?
Nope.
Oh.
Maybe?
Nope.
Oh boy! So you all start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fortune points. I start with 1 misfortune. So you're loaded up.
Boom.
You're load up. Your party. So last week on on Secrets of Swanzi. It's not really a television show. Last game session. This is the third game session. Last week, we ended on kind of a interesting note, but I think we should actually talk about the session in whole because I think a lot kind of got revealed during that time. So maybe we can start somewhere in there.
Did we start by breaking into the church? I mean, visiting the father?
We didn't actually break in because...
I went to go see my fellow practitioner.
We went to go visit the church, yeah.
Yeah, you went to go visit the chapter house of the martyr.
Uh-huh.
And what did you discover inside?
All sorts of bad stuff.
There's a hidden chamber that no one is allowed to go except the revered mother. And
How'd that work out for
In
you?
Miserable, that is.
and it had a ensorcelled door that does damage to anyone that tries to touch it, as well as a statue of the giantess Swanzi. And then I believe Matt was able to
Sneak into some
sneak
rooms,
his way upstairs.
get some love letters,
Mm-hmm.
find a hidden journal, jump out a window, seriously wound himself.
Yeah. That's a lot.
No injury though, you know.
He's walking. That's a good thing.
But they're all like,
Just walk
"That's
out."
upstairs," and then like, I'm actually outside, and then investigation being done. Someone goes outside and is like, "Matt, what are you doing out here?" And I'm like, "Been out here the whole time. What are you talking about?" Hit, nudge, nudge. Let's get out of here.
I'm totally fine.
I'm totally fine.
Limp.
I'm
Oh, God, it hurts so much.
I'm okay.
Is it supposed to hurt when you breathe?
So you reconvene back at Constable Anaya's tower, and that's when you kind of look at the journal. You learn a little bit more about what Edgar Taro saw, or Edgar Morrow, rather.
And we make some assumptions, and they are exactly right.
Were they?
Yeah. Colt.
Well, Geppetto and Miserable stayed back at the chapel because they wanted to make sure that the Revered Brother didn't go in and mess with all the evidence. Because there's blood all over the floor and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, and now you know why there's blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has to give her own blood to get
Use
through
her
the
own
door.
blood.
Have an
Yeah.
answer.
It's a little bit of a sacrifice.
Yeah.
So you all kind of decide to go to the conclave of the movement and find out they're called the Fulci to kind of confront Reverend Mother Olivia. How's that go? What does she tell you?
She basically let us in on what she's got going on, how she is a follower of the giant, basically, and that every now and then they have to give it some. They have to feed the muse, or provide it with a muse, which is essentially sacrificing a person. And then
Well, that's not what was said. That's a
That's-
mischaracterization.
that's
that is kind of
That's
what
what
we
we
said.
assumed.
that's
Well,
what we assumed.
That's what you assume.
That's what we assumed.
Yes.
Well, she also said, I don't sacrifice people, but I'm not exactly sure what Captain Lord Fussy
Vauxhall?
Britches.
Lord Vauxhall.
Lord Fussy Britches does.
Right, because the giant provides for the city. Basically,
Right.
that's why it's been so protected and
That's why she's
blessed.
170
in
years
a way,
old.
you could say. Blessed.
Yeah.
She's 170.
She's a vampire.
She looks great though.
She's
You
using
look
other
good
people.
for your age.
Yeah.
She's using other people's blood to keep herself
mean-
fit.
You know,
Well, everybody in
Vampire.
Swanzi has lived a long, fruitful life.
Yeah.
No wars come to their doorstep.
Where's coming tonight?
So,
The war is coming.
so it sounds like they have a little infighting with their enlightenment group or their movement.
Right.
It seems like they've got some witch hammer problems.
Yeah, and it sounds like, I mean, these missing people, they're going somewhere. Sounds like they're going to feed the muse.
If it
That's what we
sounds like, at least to Matt, like maybe the Lord is getting a little uppity, because apparently I think what he's assuming is the more that you sacrifice, the more inspiration you get,
Right.
and so that's why he's like, addicted to it. He's like, I need to feed the beast, kind of. So that's what Matt's picking up.
Yes.
So,
But anybody that can say that they're of the martyr and do any sacrifice, I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah. Well, it's a front.
Bullshit.
They're not really
Right.
followers of the martyr per se. They think they are. But
so we just need to go and assassinate the members of Witchhammer, and there will never be any problems again.
right, we're getting like 600 gold apiece.
600 gold.
Yeah.
Not a piece.
Live
That was
forever
amongst them.
here. Live here
Yeah.
forever.
And
Stay with
And
us.
live here forever until we need the next
Join the
sacrifice.
flock. It's the Wicker Man thing. Like the people are all in on it.
I mean, Matt's an old man. He could use for a few more years.
Which Wicker Man?
The best one, not the bees, not the Nicolas Cage one.
Okay, so the original.
The Lord Somerset. I mean, River Mother Olivia. No, it's clear that the entire village is in on it to some degree. You've learned that the Fulci is a number of key members in the community, and they say they have kept Swanzi safe.
Uh-huh.
Is that true? Well, it's up to you to make that assumption, but it's clear that Reverend Mother Olivia is concerned about Swanzi and the people, and she knows that Witchhammer is here. She in fact confirmed that it was in fact her and Lord Vauxhall.
Killed
They were assaulted by one of the operatives of Witchhammer, which she swears was the person.
found with the bridge.
Yeah.
Edgar?
What's his name? Edgar. Yeah. I don't have that card.
Edgar Bedlam.
Edgar Bedlam. That's
Edgar
right.
Bedlam there.
Yeah. So lots going on. So we turn back to our conversation. You are, of course, in the sacristy, the forbidden area of the chapel, or chapter house of the martyr. You stand with Reverend Mother Olivia in the shadows here with the bloodstained and spatter along the bottom near the door, and you can of course see the huge slab of marble where the carving of Swanzi is behind her. It's behind, of course, the triptych, that well carved triptych. But it's just the two of you. It's just the lot of you here. She ushered Mother Eloise upstairs to convalesce. She's clearly upset, as is Reverend Mother Olivia. The death of Father Pierre clearly touched them all. I mean, once again, you rolled tests last week and determined it should being true, and the answer is yes. So it's just not just a ploy. But she's offered you a really intriguing deal. She said, you know, if you side with us, we will give you riches beyond your wildest imagination. And she offered cash, and she also offered a place to stay here forever, if you so wish it. And that's when Geppetto said, how long do we get to make the decision? And she said,
1 minute.
1 minute. Should we start the game?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Do it.
It's all in character from here on out.
So is she there listening to us?
Okay.
Oh, do you
Hello,
want?
guys.
Do you want some privacy?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna walk off. I'm not going to play her game. She starts that clock. I'm just gonna walk away.
I'll walk with you.
Come on, guys. It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, yeah.
It's a lot of money. And I mean, this place hasn't been touched by war, hasn't been touched by famine, hasn't been touched by death or murder for a long time. I think this Foxhall guy is the problem. I think we can get the Witchhammer guys to go after him, clear out the bad raff, and then they think they get their guy, they leave. We don't gotta kill nobody.
I am a sellsword
Exactly. And she's trying to buy your sword
for a lot of money.
for a lot of money. People don't see 600 gold in a lifetime.
No, they really don't. But the only thing I worry about is at what point are we the sacrifice? You know, I mean, we're outsiders too, yeah.
She walks back. She walks back from behind the triptych back into the nave, the main chamber of the temple. As you are talking, and Mizrav and Inspector Richin have walked out there too. She plaintively looks toward you with her aging face, her of course wrapped in the smock and the frock of a nun, and she says, "What say you?"
I'm in. Come on, guys.
I left.
Left the church completely.
Yeah. I'm not playing this fucking game of hers.
It appears that two of our company are no longer with us.
Was this an all or nothing thing? Like, did we have to have them say yes as well?
No.
I mean, that just means more money for us.
That's true. 600 splits a lot easier with 3.
It does. Much more evenly than 5.
The riches we have had here in Swanzi are vast. As I mentioned, this is just the tip of the iceberg, but it is not the riches that will come to you. It is the promise of everlasting life. Or as long as the martyr wills it.
So will we actually be like Swanzi and so, I don't know what your word is for people who live here.
Is there
Will
a
we actually
citizen's
be
test?
citizens?
Once everything is resolved with Witchhammer and you put a stop to this madness, to these murders, you will have a home here for as long as you wish.
Well, because you don't really like outsiders, so we consider outsiders since we're technically from outside. Or would we actually be part?
Everyone who has come to Swansea has come from somewhere else. Very rare few
You
are actually born
wild,
within along the river banks itself. Many have come along the river, vagabonds, refugees, priests, merchants. all have found a home here when they realize what what Swanzi has to offer.
And the only thing you want us to do is get rid of these witch hammer.
That would be a simplification, but in a word, yes.
That doesn't sound like a bad deal to me.
So wanderers had heard the call of Swanzi. They had heard the song, and they said, "Take me to the river."
The muse provides.
All right, so the
I
three
was
of us
like,
are
it
in
sounds
this.
like there's two of us in here.
Sounds
What
like
about you?
My sword is for sale.
all right.
Right, is 200 gold enough to buy your sword? Just
I
curious.
hand over the broken wooden sword to you.
Well, I'm not paying it. She would
Zweihander
be.
provides squirrel book, please. Thank you. If you will swear now that
Now-
you will that you will seek the end of this madness, that you will bring Witchhammer, that you will capture them and take them before the Muse, we will give you this gift.
So, about that, I think it would be smarter long play to get rid of them as in convincing them to leave on their own volition. Because dead witch hammer just means more witch hammers going to come later, right?
I could not ask anyone to raise arms. That would be in defiance of the principle that they adhere, that the martyr I live beneath. It is best that the Muse finds an appropriate punishment for what Witchhammer intends for the people in Swanzi.
Okay.
Make no mistake, Witchhammer will burn this place to the ground and hang everyone, man, woman, or child.
Oh no, they're terrible people.
Well, how many of them do we need to bring back yet?
Any agents that we can find?
We know one is already dead.
Well, that's one out of... No idea.
They're likely hiding in plain sight. They will find a time to reveal themselves when they feel that their
Well,
investigation is near its end.
I mean, you know most of the people in this town. You got a suspect list? You got a most likely?
She shakes her head. Unfortunately, I don't. If there's anyone who would know, and if anyone strange or curious who's come through recently, it would be Marcus Gaston, the keeper of the Full Tankard.
Okay.
Or perhaps even his brother Luis Gaston, who maintains a slumber inn.
How are you certain that we are not?
I'm sorry, what you say?
How are you certain that we are not?
Because I know your hearts are true. I can see it.
Plus, we got in after all these things started happening, so it's not us.
Well, unless we were reinforcements, right? I mean, that would... I shouldn't talk us into getting killed, should I?
Witchhammer is an obtuse object. It is like to take a war hammer to a penny nail, not a ball peen hammer to a nail on the roof. They will reveal themselves at an appropriate time. I do not think it was you. I've spent many years trying to understand the intentions of Witchhammer. I told you, I faced down Vesemir the Puritan. I know their ilk. I do not think that the three of you, much less the five of you, are members of Witchhammer at all.
Very well.
Alright. Swear it to the martyr.
Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Will you vow as well?
Sure. Why not?
And what of you, friend?
You buying my sword? Okay.
Yes. She will touch each of you gently upon the shoulder, and she will she'll basically repeat what she said before, and she will name each of you by your name. Will you give her your real name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt Maryland.
Will you give her your real name?
I have a name. I forgot it.
Okay, so Geppetto it is. Okay. See if you can convince your friends to agree. I wouldn't want them to miss out on the gifts that the Muse offers.
I mean, they're going to help try to settle this just because they want to help. Is Annie right or no? Anaya. There we go. So ultimately, they want to put it into this too. So we'll ring them into it, but yeah, don't worry about that. Leave them to us.
I suspect that if you have begun to conduct your investigations over the day, as I understand it, that Witchhammer will know soon enough. So time is of essence.
Oh yeah.
You arrived this morning, yes?
Oh yeah. It's only been like 5 hours.
I am thankful. I'm glad that you are willing to help us. Constable Anaya is clearly overwhelmed.
Well,
She has good friends in all of you.
Witchhammer is not something that one person can take on.
No.
All right. Well,
When all is said and done, bring them back here and I will give you the key. And you can see the muse for itself.
All right.
I will take you down there.
All right.
And then you'll become sacrifices too.
Got nothing else going on. Slow Tuesday, you know.
Anything else you wish to do at the
birds,
temple
one stone.
before you go outside?
Do you offer healing?
Yeah, he's a bit rough.
A little
The
banged up
muse
here.
has given me many gifts.
I was thinking the martyr. Doesn't he
She-
do the healing thing?
She smiles. The muse has given me many gifts, one of which is artifice. I can turn rock into beautiful works. The martyr has given me the gift to weep upon wounds and stitch those who ail and hurt.
He needs some weaving.
I mean,
Will you allow
bandages.
me to weep upon your wounds?
Sure, but it's mostly like bruises. But yeah.
She kneels down and she begins to cry, like genuine tears.
Yeah. It's not-
And you feel the healing feeling as you move 3 steps up the negotiation track.
Nice. I am now unharmed.
She wipes the tears from her face.
Thank you.
The martyr appreciates the blood you have shed in your quest to keep these people safe.
Yep.
Praise be to the martyr.
Praise be indeed.
All
A
right.
rare few are given this gift. Should you find yourselves harmed again or hurt, please come to me.
I will.
I will ensure that your wounds are mended.
Hopefully this.
The
is
martyr has not forgotten her chosen. You have made a vow to her after all.
All right.
I do not recall you being wounded earlier.
Oh, I had a bad fall. It's fine.
Oh,
I'm good at. I'm good at.
So-
hiding injuries.
Outside, where it is raining. Your friends are there.
Friends.
Yeah.
May not be friends right now.
Our acquaintances.
Party members.
Party members. Party. Yeah. No kidding.
hello.
It's
Hello.
stormy.
How'd it go?
About as well as you'd expect. I mean, we're alive.
Yeah.
She actually healed me. I'll like pull up my shirt and like where I had the big giant bruise before, it's gone. Like, you gotta believe she's like.
That's what you get with deals with the devil.
Yes, the whole arrangement stinks of brimstone to me. Demonic forces. It isn't right.
Come on. You take the good, you take the bad, you put them together, and there you have the facts of life.
But at what cost?
I mean, we all die eventually.
600 crowns.
Yes, 600 pounds.
That's her cost, but what cost to you?
Oh, I left my sword inside. I left my sword inside the building.
There's
Rain got
something.
real
There's
heavy
something.
the
There's a
second
hidden.
time.
There's always a hidden cost.
Yes. I've learned that.
We should find it.
Age has given me that wisdom.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I'm old
nothing
enough.
ventured, nothing gained.
I'm old enough to know
Alright.
that if somebody gives me a house and money and tells me that I can stay safe so long as I'm useful, I'm gonna be useful.
But don't you think that amount is kind of ludicrous? Like 600 gold, it's too much. Like there's
So-
something afoot here.
So what? It would have been okay if it was 50.
Yeah. It wouldn't have
You
struck,
saw how
it,
nice that.
it wouldn't have
temple
struck
is.
my. It wouldn't have struck me as so conspicuous. It's a conspicuous amount of money. It's a lordly, princely sum. Too much.
I mean, I've been around long enough. I've talked to rich people that have picked up a piece of fruit and said, "What does this cost? 10 crowns?" You know, they don't understand what money is. They don't understand that thing. It's wind to them. So they might as well throw it our way.
You can justify this.
Just banana.
You can justify this any way you want, but
We'll find these witch hammer. I say we find the witch hammer. Pit them against these Fulci, and let them have at each other.
She did say that they would burn down the entire village.
and that's what you get for being a cult.
Oh,
Listen,
they're a cult.
That is exactly what this is.
Oh,
the gods have been around for a long time. And the Eridane, the northern gods, aren't the only gods there are.
Sure.
I mean, they like to pretend they are.
Sure.
But there are other gods.
there are.
No one's doubting that.
I'm just saying, if they worship a different god than the northern gods, it's not a bad thing.
The Eridane gods don't demand
There's-
sacrifice.
There's
like
an
this.
entire country that has one as its emperor.
Right. So, I'm just saying, you didn't think we made a deal with the devil, but we just made a deal with another god.
No.
One cult's a different cult. I mean, you got the northern cult,
But
you got
this
this
is
cult.
not a god. This is a giant.
Oh, you know, tomatoes.
This is a demon.
Oh, well, that's what all gods are called by another god.
No.
I mean,
You sacrifice to get rewards, and you sacrifice others' lives to get rewards. That is demonic. That is wrong.
Blood magic.
There's no simpler way to explain it. You can justify whatever you want for your 600 gold marks, but I will not be dealing in this blood.
I think
We need to go speak with Anaya, tell her the exact situation, and
It's her town. I think she should have a say in all this.
there's two factions in the Faucis. I think there's the sacrifice and human people kind, and then there's the normal, like, we sacrifice animals or make offerings or whatever. People. And
then there's the same other faction that turns a blind eye to the people sacrificing because they get better gifts.
I mean,
Let's not say that that is not the truth.
Well, what you're going to say? You're going to tell me that all your little gods that run around and all of them that exist in here, they've never ever been like, I don't like that other god, you should go kill his followers. That's never
I
happened.
don't give a shit about the gods.
Well, I'm just saying,
It's got
if you're
nothing to
going
do
to
with
call
the
a
gods.
spade, look, it's just the truth, right? So,
We've already had multiple wars between Aglador and Gothmorin and over this and the White Wolf and all this other because of gods. All gods do is cause problems. This isn't gods.
so they're all demons.
Whatever you want to try to twist my words. But
I'm just saying.
you just want the money.
Yeah, I do. You're
yeah,
right.
it's pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Place to stay. That part's
Forgive
nice
me
too.
for not understanding. If she twisted your words, what are you trying to say?
There is a demon in the catacombs of whatever this place sits above, and they feed this demon for ritual sacrifice for rewards.
What do you want me to do?
You should make your own decision. You already have. You sold your soul,
I did.
and you've made a decision.
And
And with selling your sword, you've sold your soul.
I don't understand.
Maybe you don't have a soul then.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Alright, back to trying to figure out who the Witchhammer guys are.
I mean, because in the end, you guys want to find that out as well, right? Like, that's not just us.
Because you're looking
No.
for that Maximilian guy, right?
Maximilian Stiger's dead.
Is he?
These people have killed him. That is what I'm going to go tell Anaya, and I'm going to see what she wants to do with these cultists, whatever you want to call them, movement. I'll give them a movement. Where's the chamber pot?
Full cheese. They're full of cheese.
I mean, look at it this way. Even if you did get the 600 gold, even if you did get to live for the next 300 years, you gotta live here in this little backwater shit town, Swanzi. You're never gonna go anywhere else or see anything of note. This is all you're ever gonna get.
Yeah.
You want to live the next 300 years with the annoying barkeep and everyone else who is our party to these murders?
Of course not. I built my own place. I have 600 gold.
You would have
I can
200.
pay friendly
But
people to
200.
come see me. It's fine.
I mean, I'm sure she'd go in with me.
Do
So,
you
you know,
have
400.
201?
We got this. We can build a house.
Exactly.
You get one wing, I get the other.
Exactly.
So it's
Whole
fine.
mansion.
If you have 201, then you can buy my sword for a higher price.
Do you at least want to tell your friend Anaya the situation?
I think we all owe it to Anaya as a friend that she should know what's going on. in
Part of
her
me
city.
has to believe she has to understand. Like,
Well, if she knows,
Does
she
she?
knows.
Well, if her father had all those writings and he was a part of it too.
yeah.
If she knows, then she's a party to it. If she
But
doesn't
he was how
know,
much?
she
100
deserves to
what?
know.
If I was her, I would want to know, so I am willing to tell her.
No, I'm fine with telling her. I'm not saying don't tell her. So tell
All right,
her.
let's head back and tell her.
Alright. That's fine.
All right.
Okay. You head back through Swanzi, back to East Shore, passing across the cobbled stone amid the rain, the fog rising off the Basque River. You can still see the mast of the barge that the four of you came in on. There's nobody along the riverside. And you find yourselves before the red, round stone building. Inside from the rain you go, closing the door behind you. Inside.
Are we alone this time? Or
Well-
is old boy still in the cell?
As you come inside, you realize the cell door is open and that there is blood spilled across the ground. You can smell the scent of black powder. You find the blunderbuss on the ground. You see bloody, muddy boot prints all over. Anaya is nowhere to be found. But the man who hid behind the jail cell is lying face down in a pool of his own blood with bits of brain and bone spattered across the wall. Anaya is nowhere to be found. Her weapon has been left behind.
Poor bastard.
Well, this
He
does
knew it
not
was coming the whole
bode
time.
well.
So, well, let's take a look at the situation. Okay, so is the gun near him, or where's the gun
You stop for a moment and you start to look around. The gun is nowhere near him. It's clear that he was shot inside.
at? So he didn't blow his own head off.
Nope.
Okay, it's not suicide,
But the door's open?
The door is open.
but he's still inside, where he came out.
He is dead. He's inside, still dead.
I'm gonna go put the kettle on.
Okay. You stoke the coals and the little stove pipe oven. Still hot, still warm.
All right, I'll make myself some coffee.
Okay.
Well, we have another man's blood on our hands.
How is this? He's over there.
We are the ones who captured him and put him in here.
Isn't that the right thing to do, though? Wasn't it the right thing to do at the time?
If he
How
were,
should we have known any different?
if we had let him go, he could have run at least.
Yep. I don't know.
That wouldn't have been the most lawful thing to do, would it?
We didn't have all the
Law?
information. We didn't have all the information we needed.
This town is not living under law.
No.
Capturing, murdering people so that they can have lovely art.
That is strange.
So, okay, so Blunderbuss has been shot. does it look like he's been hit by a blunderbuss, or does he look like he's been hit by something else?
Oh, he was shot with a blunderbuss.
Well,
Okay.
wait, if you think that it was like the Fulci, the Muse people, wouldn't they have captured him and taken for a sacrifice instead of killing him and leaving him in a jail cell?
Is the
If
jail
that's
cell
what they do.
locked?
It's open.
It's open.
I mean, like the note said we need
You can
him,
see
right?
muddy and bloody boot prints inside, around where the body was, still on the table, unmolested. But
Yes,
where
that is
he
a
had
good
locked
point.
himself inside,
Yeah.
the door was open. Whoever went in there and shot him and dropped the blunderbuss there.
The priest, he said he was trying to take him. He wasn't trying to kill him. He was trying to get him to go take him for, I suppose, the sacrifice that you keep talking about. And if that's what they were going to do, is sacrifice him, why would they shoot him and leave him in a jail cell? That makes no sense.
It does. He was the only witness.
Perhaps.
He didn't see anything. Repeatedly said he saw nothing.
He
So,
heard everything.
Anaya either has been taken to be a muse, or she has been taken because she has seen too much.
I don't know.
If it was just rampant murder, they would have murdered her too.
Yeah.
So
Can everybody step back and let's not move in there yet? Give me a moment to collect myself.
Take your time.
You pour yourself a kettle of coffee. Are you imperiled?
No.
Okay. If you were imperiled, whenever you drink coffee, you move immediately to unhindered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You take a long draft of the coffee.
And how many corruption is it?
One. Some strong brew.
I couldn't remember if it was 1 or 3.
Some strong brew. Go ahead and make an easy scrutinize test.
Okay.
This is for the investigator. This is the Sherlock Holmes thing where they reconstruct the crime in their mind. What's the ability called?
It is called True Detective.
After all, she wouldn't have called us to do this investigation if she were in on it. Can I assist?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
For 63 success.
Cool.
Made it easy. I'll get my spyglass down and try and tunnel vision into the zone.
Everything around you begins to grow dark on the edges of your vision, almost ebbing like from the edges of your eyes until there's nothing but shadows in you. You're looking over the crime scene almost in black and white. You can see where the blunderbuss, whoever was holding it, stormed into the room. They didn't unlock the door, and the keys were on Anaya's waist. He must have not locked the door. She must not lock the door when he went inside there.
She just pulled it shut.
That's right. You remember that much. It's clear that as a man was kind of backing away on like one of the bunks that are suspended from the wall by the chains, you can imagine his painful screams as he was pleading his arms outstretched. You can see it in the shadows. You can see it in the blood spatter across the brick and stone. Defensive wounds where he raised his hands and was shot. His fingers still on the ground, one in the back room. He lies in a pool of his own blood. But there's something down there. There was a fight. There was a struggle. Whoever shot him was point blank, close enough to where he could reach out and grab their clothes. And that's where you find it. Right in the back of the cell, underneath the bed that's suspended by chains, you find a few bits of his finger. And they're holding on to something. You find what can only be best described as a purity talisman made of brass, of a man crucified upside down on an X. You found a clue.
What do you make of it?
Your vision begins to slowly return to you as you hear the first voice you hear is Miserables.
Oh, the door was never locked.
It wasn't
I
a
don't
prisoner,
think-
that's right.
I don't think Anaya was ever here. I think she was not here during this. It looks like they stormed in. There was a bit of a struggle. He
he shot him point blank. And I'll pull the little talisman up. And I found this.
Do I recognize it?
I believe the war that your demon worshippers talking about has started.
Matt, you can make a you can try an easy education test.
Let's see. Education. Don't actually have it, so got to flip to fail. Alright, 54, or actually easy, 74. And that's a 16 or 61. Both are successes.
Nice. You know that talismans like this are typically worn to protect one's soul from corruption.
Alright. Yeah.
If one was to wear this, one would protect oneself from corruption, in fact.
I'll let them know. It's a protection charm. Keeps yourself from being corrupted.
What other forces are at play?
I don't know. I mean,
Wouldn't that be one of your witch hammer people?
It's
It's
obviously
like,
witch hammer.
I would assume this is
You could say it's
I mean,
the
I'm
other
making
side too.
Clearly making assumptions here, but
Either side is steeped in corruption.
yes.
This tells us nothing.
So,
Miserable. Make a challenging scrutinized test.
so are we then at least assuming? I know
I'm assuming the war has started.
52.
And witch hammer's on the hunt.
Success with a 3.
Almost like a light, like a torch, it goes off in your mind. The woman who touched your mask. You remember seeing at the corner of your eye that was not beneath the mask a glint of something around your neck. Zira Hayworth.
Zira, she was one of the merchants, right?
No, she was up at the. What is the?
Oh, she's at the conclave.
Conclave?
Yeah, well,
yeah,
the
yeah,
fancy
no.
building up there.
She was the one. She was the merchant who touched your mask.
she was one of the mourning drapers.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The conclave.
Oh, was it? Oh,
yeah.
I wasn't there for that. I'm sorry.
Yes, there are drapers who only practice business hours in dawn. They are dawn drapers.
They're Dawn Drapers.
Yes.
Yes.
Dawn Drapers, yes.
That. So they don't. That makes total sense. There's your men you're looking for.
We haven't spoken with him yet. The man had a bruised rib. The woman.
Bruised rib.
He was
Father
wounded,
Pierre
he was
got a
wounded
nice-
when I saw him.
Father Pierre got a nice punch in, supposedly, per.
And the woman was wearing a talisman of something around her wrist. We should check them out at least, see what's going on.
Grafala, what was your connection to Anaya?
We used to know each other, and we ended up trying to I was trying to pull a grift, and she came in to try to save me from it.
And I helped.
Yeah.
Was there something else there?
She lost a leg.
Yeah, she lost the leg during it, and I lost my hearing.
As you look toward her desk, where her rolling brass chair is, her prosthetic appendage is still underneath of it.
Well, she was definitely taken. She wasn't walking anywhere without this. Unless she had a second one, which I don't think so.
Her weapon is here too. What is her weapon?
The blunderbuss.
The blunderbuss.
Oh,
And that's when you realize, Grafala, there's bloody boot prints all around where her desk is.
One bloody book?
No. bloody boot prints.
Is it?
All over.
Up to it!
That's good. Well, I guess it was an eye. There's only one boot print.
Must be hard to get around with all this rain.
Solved.
I should stop.
It was a foot. Because there's only one.
Anyway. Alright. Oh, great. Is there drag marks? Anything like that?
Intermingled with the bloody boot prints, probably. One could assume.
Well,
while.
What I'm
It's like
looking
a
for
giant
to
mess.
see if it looks like they like grabbed her and drug her out. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, unfortunately, nobody took care to walk carefully inside here. So you can make an arduous awareness test.
The 5 of us just traipse through everything. That's why I asked for him to stop for a second.
Does anyone see any drag marks or anything?
I'll help you out.
11.
What was it?
Awareness,
Awareness?
arduous.
I got a
Assist.
yeah. Come on. Our dream team, we got this.
You do
We
this?
may not be able to hear things, but we got eyes.
Yeah, I can see things.
I still got both
Right.
eyes.
No, 47. So 57, arduous 27. I'm gonna reroll.
Alright.
Nope.
Well,
So
31.
close.
31.
It's hard to
That's
discern,
close.
really.
Really close.
31. I was 4 off. Alright. I can't tell.
Well,
Obviously, there was another person in here with her. I mean, we wouldn't know that did it.
I think it's pretty easy to move to some assumptions at this point then.
She's been taken by someone. We
And they killed this person and
appear to have been wearing some gaudy ass jewelry, is what I'm guessing.
Let's find these drapers. They should be at the.
at the end of
The
the
end.
What time of day is it?
but if they
It is
if
currently
they have captured
4:30 p.m.
if they have captured Anaya, then I don't know if they go back to the inn.
They might go to their sleeping rooms.
We can search their rooms at least.
Is her cart missing from the back?
You go outside in the storm.
Man, this place is always stormy.
You should not go alone.
The
Same
cart is not there.
Do I see? I know it's raining. But is there any cart tracks? Hey, out it!
Alright. Now, you want me to do the looking this time?
Yeah, have a look. See if you can
hurry.
figure it out. Look at the cart. It's missing, and I think there's some marks here. Maybe they use that to get her out of here.
Is it awareness, right? Difficulty?
It's going to be hard.
Hard? Alright. Perception hard. 32? Shit. Reroll it. I can't.
Damn it.
That's a critical failure.
No. Well,
Watched it.
yeah, not only that, you all begin to realize that it's only a matter of time until things get really, really bad, as all of you suffer 3 corruption and or gain 3 corruption and suffer 7 mental peril from stress. You can feel that the clock is ticking, so to speak, until all is awash in chaos. If you're wearing the purity seal, you can reduce that corruption by 1.
With impervious mind, do I go down any?
No,
Okay, that's
you
what
still
I
gain
thought.
the corruption though.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was trying to do though.
Yep. If you move 2 steps down, you only move 1.
This doesn't work on the
Technically,
table,
well,
does it?
it's always a minimum of 1, but we'll allow you. We'll just say nothing happens, but you
Okay.
still gain your
It
corruption
is.
though.
I didn't know that.
I thought, yeah,
I thought you could reduce it to 0.
I did too. That's why I was asking about board, especially since this is for new people.
Yep. So, what do you want to do? There are no wagon tracks to be found here. It's too much. It's too storming too badly. Too much rain. Too dark. It's getting dark soon.
Well, let's go to the inn and see if the brother has
Yeah.
seen them.
I bought a cloak from them. I'm wondering if they got it ready yet. Right?
Why don't we just ask the brother if he's seen them?
I mean, so let's go there.
I don't think we
go.
need a story at this point.
Just saying. If they ask. Legitimate reason. I actually bought a cloak from them.
And the reason is we're investigating and they need to be questioned.
Alright, let's go that.
Let's go.
Lead the way, boss.
Subtlety's not really in your spectrum, is it?
It's not.
We're running out of time for subtlety.
You come to the full tankard inn. Inside you go. The gregarious proprietor, Marcus Gaston. Welcome! Just like when you first came in, he raises a cup as if you would been through this scene before, like Groundhog Day,
Isn't it-
as others are gathered around him.
Isn't the full tanker? I thought we were going to the Slumber Inn.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Slumber Inn?
Which is the brother.
You've not been there yet.
Yeah, we haven't been there yet.
That's right. So through the storm you go. My apologies.
Welcome.
Well, the
Oh, it's
inn
like,
is on
wait.
this side of the river. I figured
Right.
it was smarter to go
No,
first,
the
right?
Slumber Inn isn't on this side, and then Tankard's on the other side. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
You find a 3-story building, 10-foot high tall ceilings on East Shore that is clearly called the Slumber Inn. You can see hanging lanterns outside, and there are massive fireplaces burning within. And as you walk in, you see the spitting image of Marcus Gaston, although he's more slight of a fellow with tan skin, more reserved, more courteous, more polite. Good evening, travelers. Will you be seeking a room for the night?
We're actually looking for some of your guest.
Oh. He steps behind the desk and goes to his volume of where people would sign their names and sign in. May I inquire which guest you're looking after? I can send someone to bring them down.
The Drapers.
The ones that are selling the cloth out of your brother's, the full tanker. I had ordered a cloak from them. Didn't know if they had it ready.
He goes through his papers.
They weren't at the full tanker when I was there last. Maybe they are now, but
Oh, you're referring to the Hayworths,
yes.
the brother and sister. Yes, they are staying here.
Yeah. They
Shall I
mentioned-
bring them down?
If they're here, yes.
Forgive me. I shall go upstairs and inquire.
Thank you.
He closes the door to the keys to the room, to the rooms upstairs, and kind of turns a key in a lock and puts it around his neck, and like a valet is kind of what it looks like. He walks his way up the stairs, leaving only you all down here.
I'm gonna take a peek at his book.
Okay.
Did they sign into something different?
You can see you find that they are listed as guests of someone who actually has taken up residence here. You see several names actually underneath this listing. Looks like somebody paid for everything.
I'm gonna turn an ear towards the stairwell to hear their conversation when he you know opens when
Sure.
he knocks on the door and stuff.
It is quiet in here, so to speak. You still hear the storm outside.
Who is the person that paid for everything?
So, first off, you do find Vaughn and Zira Hayworth. You also find 2 other names, Rupert Worthington and somebody else named Polly Leanish. Everything is booked under the name Abe, A-B-E.
I'm gonna note the room numbers too.
So the Hayworth, Rupert, and what was the other?
Polly Leanish.
Paulinish.
Polly Leanish.
Oh, Polly.
Yeah. Rupert Worthington. Vaughn and Zira Hayworth. And they're all signed in underneath the name Abe. Abe, merchant. Guildmaster.
Well, he's a
The room number
He's
is,
a merchant of Vulcan.
the room number is 213.
I'm gonna flip through really quick just to see if there's anything else of interest in the book. Any notes about people who are staying there, etc.
No, just it appears to be a ledger of people coming and going. They are the most recent guests.
Anyone from our missings list in this list? Like anyone else from our? Well, I guess probably not.
Missing.
So the missing people and the other missing people. So Proctor Lamb and Hale Larkspur are not on the guest list.
Right, because they were at Vauxhall.
They're at Vauxhall Manor. You see no name. You don't see Lander Resnick, the dockmaster. You don't see her, nor do you see Maximilian Steger. Wait, several weeks back you see Maximilian Steger when you checked in, but he checked out the same day.
Okay.
That was a month ago.
Does he have a ledger anywhere that I can see that maybe has payment information or anything?
Yeah, you want to go digging through the drawers? That's going to require you to go behind the
know.
proprietor's desk. At this point, Ms. Rob has already turned the book around and is looking through it.
You gonna steal their identity? Payment
Identity
information?
theft is a real crime in Zweihander.
Well, no, but he might have
$2 shilling.
information on who Abe is or something like that if there's a receipt of payment or.
You don't imagine it's common for a hotel proprietor to ask somebody's background when they stay here. They'll simply record the amount of money that was paid, which will probably indicate how long they've been here. But who knows?
Yes.
Says Abe Merchant.
Nah, I'll stay back. He's probably not going to take long to come back. So.
You're listening, but you can't hear anything. He's on the second floor, and it's pretty deep inside this place. You do hear his feet shuffling along the way as he returns. They will see you upstairs.
Thank you. Which room?
2 and 3.
Thank you.
I'll take you there.
All right.
Wasn't lying.
What room did it say Abe was staying in? Did
2,
it?
1, 3.
They're all.
Oh,
in
they're all in 2.
Yeah.
It's probably a larger room, right?
Yeah. Traveling.
That or it's like Gen Con where they're sleeping like 8 to a room just to save money.
No kidding. Jesus.
No, thank you.
All right. You get to the door. He
I'm not in
knocks.
my 20s anymore.
Right.
In a polite,
Right.
in a polite
I ain't
voice
sleeping on the
says,
floor ever again if I can help it.
"It's open."
I walk in.
You come inside and there's this heavy smell of perfume. Like the smell of perfume permeates this room. You can see this person who's here standing among a couple other folk. Someone of note whose face almost stands out among the crowd. One could say. You get the sense that this woman is somebody important. Get my scissors out. I'm gonna cut out her picture.
Is her name Abe?
Probably.
Abe Lincoln.
Or
No, I said,
Abigail.
hey, Blinken.
Oh, I thought it was Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
I'm thinking Mennonites.
Yeah.
She looks across the room at you, and you look at her, and she looks just like any other merchant here you would see who had passed through here, although she is wearing a guildmaster's chain around her neck, over her shoulders, like you imagine it's something in like the Tudors. Right?
Baller. Shot
Yeah, her
caller.
clothes are a little nicer. This room is clearly meant for large traveling parties. There are several beds that line the wall. Three people are sitting at a table who turn toward you, drinking a pot of tea and having a very quiet conversation. But the room does smell of extremely strong perfume, and it's coming from several large-sized bolts of rolled cloth, like big rolls of cloth in here. Like, imagine like several rugs rolled up over one.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello there. I think we've had the pleasure of meeting.
I am.
You don't see Vaughn or Zira in here at all. There's just this woman and two others with her. A fair-skinned woman and a dark tan-skinned man. They all look like merchants. You come inquiring about the cloak.
Oh yes, that was me. I ordered one and was told I could find it here.
The fair-skinned woman walks across the room. She grabs the pot of tea and she throws the bolt on the door. So nobody disturbs us,
Oh sure.
she says. The woman you were speaking with, though. The Hayworths aren't here. She takes a cup of tea from the woman who brings it to her and sips.
Oh, I'm sure that they had mentioned that they're ready to wear stuff was here at the Slumber Inn.
Inspector Rich, and you can see mail beneath of her clothing.
Was I
Ms. Rob, you can see purity symbols around her neck, underneath her clothing. So, the Fulci have come to my doorstep.
Who?
Oh,
I'm
no,
not
not
heroin.
one. Excuse me, Abe, Rupert, Pauline, whatever your all names are. I know you're obviously Witch Hammer. We have nothing to do with the Fulci. I am Inspector Richard. I'm here to find Maximilian Steger and give a shit about you and your gods or whatever the hell's going on in this town. I just want my man. I want to take him home, and I want to leave you crazy fucks to kill each other.
Steger? She says?
Maximilian Steger.
Vorberger. I know him.
Yes. It's the whole reason I'm here.
It's funny, is that's the reason we're here too.
Go on.
At the cross at the appropriate time.
Yeah. The only problem is the local magistrate is missing. Somebody's been shot in the jail.
That's unfortunate.
Things have taken a
And I'll
chaotic
hold the
turn in
talisman.
Swanzi.
There's one of these talismans underneath the body, just like you're wearing. And it looks,
Looks like one of the Hayworths.
Where is the constable? She has nothing to do with this. She's new. Where?
I can't speak to the constable, but I can tell you where Steger is.
Where's Steger?
Well, now we have an opportunity to talk. Sit, please.
I'll stand.
Spot of tea.
I'll take a drink.
Rupert. Pour whoever wishes something to drink. Well, I'm found out. We did, in fact, come here as cloth merchants, and I do apologize, but there are no cloaks to be had. Vaughn was merely being, well, he was doing his job.
Yeah, okay. Can I get my money back though?
Fair question.
I'm not being rude. I mean, if there's no sale, there's no sale. But
If there's no plug, where's my money?
yeah, I mean, money would have changed hands.
Maybe we're just gonna line you up and burn you and hang you, so maybe we're gonna keep the money from the
Buying a
church.
cloak?
Why would you think that we would line anyone up and burn anyone? That's not
didn't
what we're here for.
I think so. I mean, you offered me tea.
Witch Hammer.
Yes.
I've lived in this area for a very long time. I've seen what you've done to villages.
Indeed, I am the Witchfinder General Aberdeen Hellstrom. May I
Whatever
have
that
the
means,
points?
again, I don't care. Tell me where Maximilian is, so I can leave this godforsaken place, and I never have to deal with you or these fucking people.
Well, if you want to know where Maximilian Steger is, I can tell you. He was taken by the Fulci.
As I assume. That means nothing. You said you knew where he was at. Is he in Lord... I can't remember the Lord's name.
Vauxhall.
Sorry. Lord Vauxhall's home, or...
I don't know. We went to his house. There were signs of a struggle. You probably didn't see it.
I saw it. You missed the thread and all. I'm very good at my job. It sounds like you're very poor at yours. So please, if you can't help me, I'm going to leave. And again, I don't care about you and this silly town and the craziness that's going on.
Well, I think you will if the Fulci are intending to do something nefarious with Steger and with the constable.
The constable was taken by your people.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I spoke to the constable no more than an hour ago.
But your people did shoot this man that was in a jail.
Price of doing business with the Fulci.
He was a vagrant.
And a sinner. And a citizen of Swanzi.
I guess vagrants are citizens now in your mind, but whatever that means.
Look, We're all after the same thing.
I'm gonna walk to the door, I'll lock it, and start to walk out.
Polly is standing there. She's not moving. You want to try to move her?
Please get out of my way.
Hear General Hellstrom out first. She will help you find your friend.
I don't want to hear you out. I don't want to be part of your craziness.
I'm sorry, Inspector Richin, but by being here, you're already a part of it. There's nowhere else to go. You can't go downriver. You can't simply leave Swanzi. I can't let you leave until we have an opportunity to talk.
Say your piece, then. I'm glad I'm being held against my will. I will make sure that the Constable General hears about this.
Well, that's when the Puritan is dead, so there's just me. Ogulistan is my jurisdiction.
You are not the Constable. You are Witchhammer.
Yes. Everyone kneels to one lord or another.
Sure.
Regardless, I think you know why we're here. It's very evident. The Volci are here. They have increased in their activity. And we know Reverend Mother Olivia is at the center of it.
So
Her whole lot of priests.
So what's stopping you? You know where she hangs her hat, so to speak?
Well, so obviously,
It's not as simple
you
as
guys
that.
killed Father Pierre. The Haywards killed Father Pierre. That's why he was bruised. His rib was. That makes total sense now.
It was an accident. That was not intentional. The
Well, you're
thought
gonna kill
was
them
to
all
put
anyway,
him
so
to the question, and my
why does it
agents
matter?
tried to capture him because we know that he works with the Fulci's leader. That was an unfortunate happenstance, but you have to break a few eggs to make an omelet.
So what's complicating everything? Why haven't you dealt with this yet? How do we play into this?
Yes.
You were clearly tied up in this somehow, being outside of Swansea. Maybe you're friends with Anaya. Maybe you were just paid by somebody. Maybe you're from Forberg. I don't know.
I'll pull out my writ. The whole reason I'm here, as I've stated.
Well, I think we can find a way to help each other. She smiles beneath of her tea.
I want nothing to do with you.
I have lived my last 5 years in pursuit of this, and I am savoring the moment that I get to see all this come to an end.
This reminds me of a novella or a play.
How so?
Your antics are theatrical.
Agreed. Can we move this along? Tell us what you really want us to do. I mean, wrap it up box needs to happen at some point because I do want to leave this town.
Yes.
Come now, a good play takes hours.
In Swansea, it is unfortunate you've been caught up in this chaos. I'm sure as people simply passing through or doing your investigation for Vorberg, you couldn't have foresaw any of this. I cannot blame you for that. I do not hold that against you. But either way, you are here. You're lost in the sauce, as they say in Cahabro. And there is nowhere else to go. So
Right.
you're as part of this as much as anybody else in the moment, at least.
Go on.
I trust you've spoken with your Brother Mother Olivia.
I didn't.
I spoke with her.
Come now.
I didn't.
What did she say?
I didn't make any agreements.
Did she offer you riches beyond compare? Did she offer you everlasting life?
She did.
Did she leans over and picks up a book and say, the spirit of the muse will give you everlasting life?
Yes, she said all that.
Yes.
Of course she did. She wants you to do her dirty work. She's an adherent. A sinner, a corrupted one, but she won't do the work herself. She'll send others to do her bloody work. Right?
Right.
Why are you doing that too?
Oh no, I'm going to see an end to this.
We're up from here.
By all means, as I stand aside towards the door.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, while you're drinking tea and sitting here monologuing, that's when you're going to finish this out. That's great.
Plenty
Well,
of
that-
mustache twirling to be done.
The way I see it is you either with us or you're against us. There is no middle ground. Not in my world, and not in the world out there.
So that's basically what she told us. So Again, as I have stated to you clearly, I want nothing to do with this.
You don't have a choice.
No, I do have a choice. I have a writ to do my job. You have no authority over that writ.
Mm-mm. But we can find your Steger together.
I want nothing, again, to do with you. You are just as evil as her, and I don't give two shits about your purpose or theirs. Mm-hmm. I'm here for a job. I've clearly stated that to that mad woman up there, and I'm stating it to the next mad woman that I've met in this place. So, you two can kill each other, and we'll all be better for it. So, be our guest, and I'm going to go talk to Lord Vox, whatever his name is.
He's also Fulci.
I don't care.
You clearly
keep
do.
saying
you won't
this.
find Steger without us.
Well,
You
then why
won't.
haven't you done it? I mean, again,
To speak plainly, Inspector Richin, leverage.
leverage.
We are but 3. You are 5 more we can add to the cause.
No.
United, we can bring an end to this, and you can find your Steger and find your woman.
I am a sellsword.
I don't pay people to do things.
Well, I don't want your money. I don't want anything to do with you. I have clearly stated that. Now, are you holding me hostage in my personage, being held hostage?
I'm holding you hostage.
And I walk to the door and I unlock it.
You've made your choice, Inspector Richin.
I have made no choice, and I have told you that multiple times. If you come at my person, I will protect myself.
She nods. You can see her smiling beneath of her cup.
And I hope you don't believe that you're fooling anybody, but the chainmail is obvious. You don't even look like a fucking merchant.
As for your money, I'm terribly sorry. We can't issue a refund tomorrow, once our business is done.
It's understandable. Like you said, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, we're here for the winter, right?
If we live that long.
Winter will see this place burn to a cinder. There will be warmth here, but there will be a village by the time that we're finished.
That's interesting.
Madmen, like I said.
You're, yeah.
I'll yell it over my shoulder. Town full of goddamn nutters.
I gotta say, he's got the best monologue so far that we've had, though. Really, he does.
So,
She.
so what's your plan?
No.
Don Draper. Come on, I was waiting for the Don Draper to come in there, Matt.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You missed your cue, Adam. You
Well,
never miss your cue.
It seems you have made your choice. You've decided to side. You've sided with the Fulci. It's very unfortunate.
I mean, to be honest, you kind of made the choice for us because it was against us or us, and
We're gonna
that's,
burn the whole place down.
that's kind of making your own decision, right? Like, I mean, even if I said maybe, see, that's a decision, but you decided it's yes or no, and that's so really you kind of made it, if you want to be honest.
Listen, I'm a man that likes to be on the winning side. All
That's
right,
true.
preventing conflicts. It's the
Yeah.
best side to be on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are you proposing safe passage out of here?
The question is this:
Work?
Yeah, you're gonna burn the whole place. What the fuck are we supposed to do out of that?
we all want the violence to end.
Sure.
We know what the Fulci is doing. We know that they are bringing harm to people, and it is my job to see an end to it.
Okay.
Yeah, fire's pretty violent.
And the plan for that is?
Burn it all down.
Yeah.
Peace through tyranny. One must use the sickle to reap the wheat.
So if everyone's dead, there can't be violence.
If the Fulci are gone, there can't be further violence.
Yeah, but you said everyone.
Burn the whole place down.
Yes. Those who stand against us, I do not suspect that. I do not believe that the Fulci will simply bend over. Now, I'm sure the weak-limbed folk of the conclave will try to put up some fight with words and raise their brushes in defense of the Reverend Mother, and they are unfortunately been misled. Their belief in this muse is what will condemn them.
Right. What about the guy that's shoveling manure out of a field that happens to live here? He's part of this huge conspiracy. Is that what you're telling me?
They are wise. They will leave when the fire comes. I hope that the death of the Reverend Mother Olivia will be enough warning.
So the buildings are heretics too.
I don't understand what you're getting at, but it seems you're being pedantic on purpose. And I want to
no, I
engage.
completely am. I mean, you were being, so I just figured, why not? I'm joining the party.
So the play is to take out the revered mother, and then hope the Foci just stop doing what they're doing?
She is but one part of the puzzle.
Okay, so you strike off one head. If there's multiples, will not another just take its place?
Well, there is
That's the burning thing.
the enemy within, or literally within Swanzi,
Okay.
that supersedes even her power. But that is the muse.
My allegiance goes to the highest bidder.
As I said before, I don't pay for swords.
So, you're going after the muse. That's the goal?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you plan to deal with said demigod? Demon?
We drag over Mother Olivia on the street and beat her senseless until she tells us exactly what the muse is.
Okay.
We put her to the question.
While
We
the,
drag her entrails out until she answers the questions that we want answered.
while the two of them are talking,
You answer questions with your entrails out?
I don't know. I've never been asked.
while the two of them are talking, I would like to be as subtle as I possibly can be. But we're in a room. It's not. It's.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
But I'm going to draw my gun and shoot her.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm sitting there sipping tea and
Alright.
talking.
I'm a distraction.
That's right. So.
Just keep making
Shoot,
smart.
I mean, I made it clear as day. I go to the highest bidder. I don't pay. Well,
All right.
there's no room for
That's right.
the highest bidder.
Well,
like
so
This could be
we're
a very bad
let's-
choice for me.
Let's make an opposed test.
Yeah.
Whoever rolls the close, it's gonna be easy for you
This is happening.
and challenging for me.
This is your chaos you love, right?
And whoever rolls closest to their chance for success wins.
Yeah.
Right?
This is not good. I have a bad feeling about this.
So that's it's easy awareness.
Easy awareness.
So Adam's Nick.
Can I assist with my distracting?
Yeah, you can add an assist die. That's fair. You have a skill. You have a skill
I
and
do.
rank and awareness. Yeah.
81. So 36 or 16. So 36 is what I want, right?
Yeah, closest to it.
Yeah. So 36 is.
You could reroll.
I rolled a 77.
Critical
I
something.
critically failed.
Oh my!
Never mind, we're good.
You withdraw your
my
gun
God.
and you pull the trigger because she's helpless.
Help us.
Oh
Can't
my
do it.
God.
And she goes flying across the room
Oh my
and
God.
lands on the ground and and the other two witch hammers there, so Polly and
Yeah.
Rupert are like,
Yeah.
oh
I spilled my tea all
shit,
over
and
myself.
they drop their knees and raise their hands immediately.
You can
You
still.
hear this boom sound coming from the hallway.
What the?
Because I was with you.
Yeah, we started to leave, right?
Yeah.
All right, running back.
He had the best monologue.
Hey, run that thing up. Make that 6.
You can still purchase my services.
That's perfect. Hey,
Oh boy.
Jack.
Oh boy.
There's some 6s, some free 6s in there.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, you kill
That's true.
Witchfinder General Abe Hellstrom
Yeah.
in a sleepy little village called Swanzi.
And I'm,
And she is dead.
um,
So Rupert and Polly Leanish are like standing there with their hands in the air, trembling, like,
Well, I'm gonna get over
by
there.
By the steward, please don't kill us.
I'm gonna tie him up.
I start reloading and I say, "You can still purchase my services."
We don't have any money, they say.
I'm gonna walk over to one of the bolts of silk and like dry myself off with it.
As you are drying yourself off the bolt of silk, you find that there's a hand, like an arm in there. They've been perfuming the bolts of cloth to hide the bodies of the people that they captured. And you suspect, judging by the man's clothing and the fact that there's an owl crescent on the sleeve, it must be either Hale or Proctor Lamb, one of the dog's bodies of Lord Franklin Vauxhall.
You may not have the money on you, but you do have the money eventually. As I continue loading the gun.
Now remember.
Yeah, I'm tying him
Wait.
up.
Who? Was it just this one, or was it all?
Are
of
you
them?
are you going to come back in the room, or you?
Yeah, we ran back over here. What the hell was
You
going
come
on?
into the room and you throw the bolt, and you see that you can see across the way where those two big bolts of cloth are. You can see that Matt Reynolds got like a gray arm hanging out of one, and he points toward the owl that's on the lace.
Where's the ring?
You
Yeah.
find the ring, and like it's the
exact same
it's
thing.
Lord Franklin, but this must be the two people who were taken.
Yeah, I probably should have gotten corruption for that.
Yeah, I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 6. I mean, it's 3 corruption.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only 3 when you kill somebody.
Okay.
I mean, she's evil.
I mean, she
Well,
definitely
no,
not nice.
I mean, I have to
Jeez.
do my job. I am so.
No, but you didn't get 6 because
She
she's
bought my
evil.
sword.
Well,
I
the-
left it at the.
I mean, you all, to be clear, above board, most of your characters would know that Witchhammer has a history of persecution, torture, and violence.
Yeah,
And despite whether their intentions are justified, their persecution of the Fulci is no exception to that. So,
Yeah.
to be clear, if you would have allied with Witchhammer, you would have gained a permanent chaos ring.
Right.
Yeah, they are not the good guys.
Yeah.
Nor is the other side.
Right. There's no good.
No
guys
good
there.
guy.
But
I keep saying that, but nobody.
all
That's
right.
why I was like, I'm standing aside. You can kill each other.
That's exactly. Go ahead, please. Kill
Were
each
were
other.
we hired to just kill the one, or were we hired to kill them all?
We were hired to bring them to her.
Yeah.
2 out of 3.
That is the proper way to use that term, right?
Yeah,
well,
I'm
she-
proud of you. That was
they-
great.
Still
You
trying.
can see that there are 2.
Oh,
Do I hear
oh,
this?
God.
Is like,
Yeah, there are 2 men wrapped in the perfume bolts. The bodies are covered in bruises, burns, and cuts, and they wear the mantles of the same owl. They've been tortured.
Yeah. They
They've been
put to the
tortured,
question.
and they've probably been tortured in this very
yeah.
room. You don't see the torturer's tools.
Gotta update their card.
Yeah.
I do not know why you are surprised. I do not know why anyone is surprised. I said I am a sellsword. I said that my sword was purchased. I offered for them to purchase it for hire.
It was sooner than I expected.
what?
I was trying to get some
I can't believe you guys
information
are-
out of them
If only-
first.
okay, just to be clear, normally in that situation, I've been like, "Oh, they're defenseless. Roll damage."
Yeah.
Right.
Because I critically failed, they're
Yeah,
helpless.
yeah,
Helpless,
yeah.
right?
So you literally just
You coup de grace.
Yeah.
you literally coup de grace.
It's a once in a lifetime roll, and it usually doesn't make those.
That is beautiful.
It's usually, oh, that's another 6.
Yeah, like I thought I was dead.
Okay.
I love that you preface
Okay.
it though with this could be a very big mistake.
Yeah,
So-
well, it is a big mistake.
Oh, yeah.
period, even though I succeeded.
You know, there's still 2 other witch hammers out there that could possibly have an eye out. I'll look over it. Polly.
Fallen leader, yes.
Yeah. Where are the brother and sister?
The fanatics, I tell you, the same as Witchfinder General Hellstrom. They went too far. They're enacting the Inquisition
Where?
in Swanzi. I don't know. They said that they were going to go to the jail, and then Abe said to leave the constable alone. That's all I know.
Well, looks like they kidnapped her. Do you have a safe house? Do you have another room where you guys are doing?
We were all staying here in the slumber inn, and 213, she
And
says.
you've been torturing people in here.
No. Rupert and I, we didn't want nothing to do with it, he says as he speaks. It's like, when we thought the Witchfinder was going too far, and we we were trying to find a way to leave Swanzi, but then the Witchfinder General gave us the same speech that she gave you. She was saying you're either with us or against us, and we knew that we couldn't do anything otherwise. Our souls would be condemned to the world. We'd be condemned.
Well, your souls are condemned anyway.
Can I scrutinize them to see if I believe that they're feeling, or they just spouting whatever that gets them out?
You don't need to roll a skill test because there's no real risk here. There's nothing
Yeah.
at risk if you misconstrue what they're saying. No, they're being true.
So
They're
I believe that they
like-
were press ganged into this.
Well, they're clearly like members of Witchhammer, but
Okay.
they clearly believe that the Witchfinder General and the Hayworths went too far. They believe that.
Do they have the purities, like
Nope.
necklaces?
No, they do not.
Just partially whatever's left of the leader.
Yeah.
What if
I'm
you were to
taking
go
it.
back
She's got
and
ahead of
report
herself.
that nothing was going on here?
There's nowhere to go back to. It's back to the City of Lights. That's leagues away.
But what if you were to go back to the City of Lights and report that nothing were to happen here? That you found nothing.
We cannot lie to the. We cannot stand before the steward and lie.
Oh no.
I think you might want to say something different, Rupert.
Look, we can just leave Swanzi and never go back to the City of Lights. That's not. He looks toward Polly. Yeah, we can just leave and never go back and report, and that would be, we'd turn our cloaks. Yes, that's what we'd do.
You'd go further south.
We would go elsewhere. That's for sure. She
North.
says. North sounds rather warm right now.
North is not warm, but north is your choice. South is back to the City of Lights.
No, we wouldn't go there.
Wait, I thought the City of Lights was north.
No.
Ah. Yes, you go north.
Yeah, we're not going back there. That's for sure.
Aglador is northwest. Whatever. Semantics at this point.
Other than giving directions, at this point, what are we gonna do?
We take him to the revered mother.
Yeah. No,
Oh. I murdered her.
yeah.
I can see that.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
I'm a sellsword.
he asked again if she would match payment, and she said, I don't pay. And then her brains were on this lovely bolt of silk, which was concealing a body.
And now I've ruined my clothes, and I'm not gonna get a refund on my cloak.
All right.
She might have some money in a pouch. I'm gonna go check.
Let's figure out where the other two are.
Yeah, we need to find Anaya. That's for
And
certain.
we need to find Anaya. And we are, before I left, you heard what she said.
Burn the whole fucking place around, yeah.
Before that,
We're at the full chief.
She said burn it down
leverage.
the wall.
Leverage. They take and they use people for leverage. Are we sure they did not take Anaya?
No.
I think the fanatics took her. The brother and sister Drapers.
Yeah.
The Witchfinder General said not to touch the constable.
And she also probably said
she was
not to
untouchable.
murder the father, but they did that
also,
too.
She also probably didn't plan on being murdered herself.
Well, no one plans on being murdered.
I do.
I mean,
No. We didn't kill that person.
then who did you kill?
You didn't kill.
He motions.
I mean,
he
besides
motions
these
to the
two, any
people.
others?
That's all.
There's a whole lot of.
She said. Polly said. Rupert says. That's all we were witness to.
Oh, so that's all you witnessed. But there's this Raina Baxter, this Iona Sarah. They list off all the people that are missing.
Oh no, that's the people the Witchfinder thought that the Fulci had taken.
Okay, so those refugees that were missing were taken by the Fulci.
Yeah, the Witchfinder General was saying that they make some terrible sacrifice to some ancient god that lives beneath the earth.
Yeah.
Fills them with holy inspiration and keeps them safeguarded against death.
Well, not so well, because you guys have been spreading death and destruction like a plague. How do you think that even works out to be the steward's work? You're fucking sick.
Nobody is supposed to live forever. It's the grief that we carry as mortals for
Don't give me
betraying the
your line
gods.
of bullshit.
To live forever is to defy the gods.
Well, you want to take those two up to sacrifice, that's on you three. We need to find the other two because if they have Anaya, they will use her for leverage.
Where are the other two?
I mean,
What are the two?
I'd answer his question.
The Drapers.
Drapers.
Von
Yeah, they
Zero,
said they have no idea.
they're out in Swanzi somewhere. I suspect maybe they're going after Vauxhall. Who knows?
Where did they torture these
Perhaps.
two?
Perhaps we could check
He
at the bar.
Polly motions to one of the chairs nearby. It's covered in a big canvas cloth. You don't want to lift that up. It's messy.
Well, it's called messy in here to begin with right now. I mean, she's in a few pieces.
Maybe we need to go tell at least the proprietor what's going on. There was a shot fired.
Well, if they're not here by now, it's not like she's going to call run to the constable.
They can't run to the constable. Anaya's missing.
Right.
That's what worries me. She is being used as a pawn here. Or as...
How would you leave messages for them? You must have some way of communicating.
Von Zero are higher up than we are. We're just fledgling Witchhammer members.
You didn't look
They're
out the one,
lieutenants.
you didn't look out the window and see which direction they went?
Well, goodness no. What business will we have of that? We're just foot soldiers, he says.
I got an idea. Why don't we lock them in the cage, right the one back in Anaya's place?
We don't have the key. Anaya has the only key.
I mean, I can lock it and then break the lock.
That is up to you all. As far as I'm concerned, this filth, you can take them and do whatever you want with them.
If you're looking for your friends, I'd look to the Conclave, the Fulci Conclave.
Yeah.
Or Lord Vauxhall, Polyleanish says.
What did we promise we'd do?
We said we'd bring the witch hammer back, so I guess we can just take him to her. She can deal with him for a bit till we find the others.
Do we want to take these two back, or do we want to find the other two and take those back?
I think we take these two first.
Yeah, 2-tiered, bring a couple.
You want to take them to the chapter house?
These two are innocent. If you really want to take walks, if you really want to take Witchhammer back,
I
which
mean,
came
they
first?
seem to be
Innocent.
in a room with a bunch of tortured corpses. I could be wrong.
I mean, they're not innocent, but they're.
I could be convinced to let these go as long as
I say
take the other
I
two.
say you let these go and take the other two.
We
back.
didn't have no choice. I mean, after all, the alternative was
Yes.
being
Soldiers.
branded heretics and murdered in the street by the
Only
Witchfinder
follow
General.
I understand that.
I've been told soldiers, I just followed orders. I don't care. I told you all. They're yours to deal with.
Did you actually
Fine then.
torture
I don't care
these-
either. Do what you will.
Did you actually talk to these people at all?
No, it was a Witchfinder General.
So you just stood there and watched?
We had no choice.
I would grab that body and take it to your...
What would you do in that situation?
Your Lord and Savior.
Well, he did what you could have done.
Run and never come back.
Brave as heathen than we.
Man.
I think he bought them for you.
I can't have him anymore.
Oh.
Can't have what anymore? Oh, those?
Pork rinds. Yeah. Could you give me a few of the
My
high
favorite.
Jews?
I'm keep staring at him.
So what do you want to do from here?
I'm gonna. Matt's gonna spearhead taking them to the
I'm gonna take him to the temple.
Reverend Mother. Yeah.
They were witch hammer.
Wait,
They're not
I thought
that innocent.
I thought we were supposed to take the other two.
We'll get them
They
later.
she said to take all witch hammer. They're technically witch hammer. Maybe they're, cowardly
They're
members.
not Witch Hammer anymore.
So, I wanna.
They said they were going to turn cloaks.
You can't always trust people at their word.
Not everyone is lives up to their word as much as you do.
Also,
Yeah, but you're living up to your.
We also agreed to bring them. So,
she said
But
any
they're
of the
not
witch.
Witchhammer anymore.
They aren't. They have seceded.
We turn away. We have disavowed ourselves of Witchhammer completely and fully.
well, then you
Of
can make
sound mind, I, Rupert Worthington.
Well, then I say you make that argument with the priestess.
The cult leader?
Yeah, that'd
She
be
says.
Let's go.
She can be merciful.
Let's go. Do you?
There's no mercy before the muse.
I'm tired of the argument. Let's just deal with it.
Yeah, make your decision.
Do we want to
I'm
search
gonna
this
go
room
down
for
and
any
speak
other
to the
clues?
proprietor. Clues? Yeah, they tortured and slaughtered people in here.
Is there anything on her body?
Yeah.
Loot.
Chainmail, flintlock pistol, purity, seal, nice clothes,
We want new clothes.
Any writs?
covered in blood and gunshot.
You want a new clothes?
I mean, they're not my size.
Nothing like that.
Nothing to
No.
even show who she actually is.
If there's
Not
a writing,
surprising if they were captured, they would do everything in their power to hide who they are.
True.
They even have merchant ledgers here that are well kept.
I'm gonna grab the
Like
pretty.
fine facsimile. Does somebody here have a counterfeit?
I do.
Yeah, they've kept really good counterfeit journals. Like if they were captured by somebody official, they would be able to pass off as merchants.
Yeah, I'm gonna take those, throw them in the pack,
Okay.
because I might find a use for that. And I'm gonna grab the sigil and put it on, tuck it under my clothes.
The purity symbol.
Yep.
Okay.
if there's a writing case, I want to leave a note that says,
Fuck you, witch hammer. Your witchfinder general is dead. Just kidding.
that says, bring Anaya to the cathedral unharmed. If you ever want to see these men again.
Okay. Okay. You go downstairs to talk to the proprietor, and he fled. The door is wide open. Like they fled. He fled into the night when he probably heard that gunshot. There's nobody else in the slumber inn.
Okay. I'll go ahead and shut the door until they come down.
Okay. Clunk.
Yep, I'm gonna tie him
In
up.
fact, nobody else has checked into the slumber inn at all,
It's just these people, but they're the only ones who have checked in.
except for Master Hugo.
Who's Master
A person named Master Hugo, merchanteer.
Wasn't that the guy that we led here?
The one who paid you to get here. Yeah.
Yep, I'm gonna tie him up. I'm gonna drag him to the temple on our way to.
Find and gag 'em?
What about the body? Are you just going to leave?
Sure.
Well, if you're not going to take the pistol,
I mean, I'm not going to take the other two bodies that are here either.
This flintlock pistol was 6 shot.
I already have one.
I have an arquebus.
So you take them out in the rain. Back to the chapel.
Oh, yeah?
You said we would? You guys don't have to. We're not.
Nope.
Storming outside. They're walking sullenly through the muck and mud.
This way they don't
Swanzi
have
is quiet.
This way they don't have a chance to go tell them either.
Indeed.
That's my thought.
Well, I mean, I'll stay back and I'll follow just to make sure they don't get ambushed. But I am going to stay back and see if the Miss Rao will stay back with me.
Back at the slumber inn?
No, just stay
They're
back.
gonna trail
like,
us.
I'm going to trail,
okay.
but give them enough room
Oh, yeah.
that to give them enough room to see if they will, the brother and sister will attack them.
Yeah, it's good. So you're walking with these 2 bound people. They're walking sullenly through the muck and mud and being led by a rope back to the chapel. You're crossing back onto the cobblestone of West Shore, and they start to get really nervous. They know what's about to happen. You can see the grim gray specter of that magnificent chapter house, the cathedral to the martyr, looming on one of the hills. Adjacent to that, a manor home that must be Lord Vauxhall's, and even further up the hill, up on a crescent of the hill, is the Fulci Conclave.
Oh wait, I'll wait till we get up.
It's like almost like looking at if you look at like a spine, like the 3 most prominent backbones along the hills.
Tom, this is a bit of a grim march.
This has got nothing to do with me.
I know, it doesn't feel right.
Your friend signed a deal with the devil.
I don't know whether I could even call them friends. It just speaks to the character. I don't know.
I only thought of something recently. Maybe we trade these 2 for my Maximilian so I can get the hell out of this place. I can walk. I will take the road.
I don't need to take the river.
Well, let's carry on then.
The chapel looms in front of you. You're now at the doors. The sign that says no services today is still hanging out there.
Hey, Matt.
I knock
I'm gonna
on-
open it.
Hey, Matt.
Uh,
See if they won't trade these two for my Maximilian.
I'll see if I can get some answers. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sound good.
Thank you, Matt.
The door opens. Clunk. Roam.
In, everyone in, shut the door.
Yeah. You come into the chapel.
I'm gonna stay outside.
You
I'm
stay
not
outside
part
the
of this,
rain.
man. I'm
Right.
sorry.
With you.
You walk the two of them inside, and they're kind of dragging their feet there. They know what's to come. Reverend Mother Olivia is near the altar. She's still praying over the body of Father Pierre, and she turns around, and her eyes narrow toward the two you have at the end of the rope. She almost spits. It's almost like she's about to spit venom, but she holds back her word and says, "Is this them?"
Some of them.
Almost.
She walks up to the two of them, and they're sobbing and heaving at this point, knowing what's going to befall them, and praying, uttering prayers to the steward.
You told us to bring Witchhammer back. There are still two of them, and these two are no longer Witchhammer.
At least they say
They were
they
though.
forswore Witchhammer.
They're not anymore.
But they watched a leader get their head blown off, and that kind of broke them, I guess.
Who? She says.
She did not want to buy my sword for more than you pay us,
Abe.
so we murdered her.
Abe?
Abe,
I think it was Abe.
Abilene, Matt would remember the name. He's,
Hellstrom?
think so?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, I'm not there, so.
I'm gonna try to recall what I saw in the book.
Yeah, the acting general of the Witchhammer?
She
Former acting?
she pauses for a moment.
Yeah, it was
She
definitely
says, and she kind of talks for a moment with Rupert Worthington and Polly Leanish, and they have kind of an ongoing conversation. What will you all do while you're talking?
Eavesdrop.
Ask for your 600 gold.
Yeah, I don't even pretend to eavesdrop. I will listen in.
Yeah. River Mother Olivia is listening to their pleas, and she hears their words and says, "You know, by aligning yourself with Witchhammer, you have done a great disservice to the martyr. That is unnatural. This is not the way of the covenant. That Witchhammer itself is a splinter sect of the faith. That if the Holy Father knew of what is happening here, that he would see them condemned. He would see them ostracized from the church and likely killed ritualistically in front of the town square." And then she says, "But the martyr demands of me that I forgive you for your transgressions. If you truly believe you are truly turning away from Witchhammer, I have no choice but to forgive you for what has happened. But you must remain at the temple. You cannot leave here, not until this is all sorted out." She agrees that she will give them. That they may stay in the dorms on the second floor. They can have food and bread, but they do not have free run of the church of the house at all. They have to stay They have to stay upstairs. They can't go anywhere at the temple. But that she will for now she will let them stay until once again things are sorted. But she won't forgive them, but she will. But it is the ways of the martyr, obviously, to help absolve them for whatever crimes they've committed. And she says, we'll talk about how restorative justice works within the martyr's eyes soon. But for now, you will have water in your bread, and you will be here in the chapter house, but you cannot leave.
Hypocrisy.
So, we brought out of them, and we had a question. They said that you have Maximilian Steger, or Fulci in general as Maximilian Steger. Is that true?
She pauses for a moment and thinks and says, I've spoke with Maximilian Steger before, as I mentioned before, but why would we take Maximilian Steger?
Well, that's what they said. And of course, Witchhammer's known to say whatever they think you want to hear in order to get you to join their side. But you know our man is looking for him, so...
Your friend said something about... Forgive me, Inspector Richin, was it?
Yeah.
Said something of Lord Franklin Vauxhall, that maybe something is not right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, something we did find is the remains of Vauxhall's missing men. They were wrapped up in
Silk.
bolts of silk in the room in the Slumber Inn.
I don't know if there's some last rites or something you wanted to do, but that's what they're.
I must admit, I do not feel safe walking the streets of Swanzi. I feel that here, beneath the Muse's protection, is the safest place to be.
I would think that, yes, it'd be best for you to stay here, but, I mean, we'll leave their bodies there for now, but we may want to recover them. Another thing we'll need
What
to
is
recover
Constable?
is the constable. She's been taken by two of the other Witchhammer. More fanatics. I'll give her their names. The ones that were posing as drapers at the full tanker.
Yeah, Vaughn and Zero Hayworth.
I'm sure Lord Franklin took interest in them. He is probably the wealthiest person here in Swansea. Maybe there is something to your Inspector Richin's instinct.
Well, he was caught up on the fact that before I murdered her, she said that there was leverage. So I believe that they are being used as leverage, and hopefully we will see that when we find the other two. Now, how do we find the other two?
I left them a note, so they might come here. That means they'd have to go back to the inn, find the note, and then actually decide to come here or not.
They're holding a Naya that not just gonna leave us somewhere and go back to the inn.
They might leave her tied up somewhere. We don't know. We could,
Swansea is a very small place.
I think our best bet would be to go back to the full tankard to see if we can figure out more information about these
Ah, yes.
clothers.
That's where we originally met them.
Right. So start back at the beginning, see if we can follow them from there. Otherwise, we can always start a witch hunt for Witchhammer. See if we can get the townspeople to help us.
Which one is it?
Hammer.
When the time comes, she looks toward you. We will need to speak about what happened with the Witchfinder and the murder. We'll find a way to absolve you of this act you have committed, although you have done it to protect other people.
That is what I was hired to do.
Yeah, we're planning to burn down the whole town.
Yeah. You even said it. Almost
Literally.
the exact words as you said.
To our faces.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll flee before the fire gets them. Was verbatim.
There's no violence among the adherents. We abstain from violence.
Right. But hopefully we can.
Just to ourselves.
Everybody else around us can do it, though.
We'll see if we can find the two remaining and Anaya.
So
we'll
murder
bring
was
them
not
here.
what you would want.
I would hope what I wish and what the Muse wants is two different things. The Muse would be the...
But you have hired me, so what do you want? Am I hired to do the Muse's work, or am I hired to do yours?
I want this to come to an end. That is all. The violence, the kidnappings, to all come to an end. Witchhammer is at the center of all of us. All of it. I feel it in my heart of hearts.
Like, Geppetto looks extremely confused, and then it's almost like a light bulb goes off, and Geppetto goes, "Very well," and turns around and walks out.
All right. So,
Into the storm again.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. I break you.
It's now nightfall.
If he dies, he dies.
I break you.
It's about 6 p.m. now at night.
She says they know nothing about Stiga. At least she doesn't. I mean, maybe Vauxhall does, I don't know, but she doesn't.
We need to go to this Vauxhall, tell him where his men are. And then I need to ask him directly. Where is my man?
Alright.
We could go to Vauxhall, or we could go to
Full tanker.
Full Tankard to see if we can find the other two Witch Hammer.
I don't care about Witchhammer.
I care about Maya, though.
I care about Anaya.
I care about Anaya. I think if they have her, they're going to trade. You have the other two.
Yes.
You'll secure them.
I mean, they're gonna stay
I've
here.
helped you on
locked up.
all of these murders. I've helped you on all these other items. Now I ask one thing. Help me for the reason I'm here.
If your man's alive, I will help you get them out.
Fine.
That's all I can
To
promise.
Vauxhall, please. And then I will continue this
Vauxhall
madness
first.
with you.
Vauxhall first.
Sure, it's closest.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Lord Vauxhall's manor looms on a nearby hill, just up the way from the chapter house. You're kind of coming up this long hill, trudging through the mud and the muck. Who has light?
I do, if we need it. I have a lantern and an oil pot.
I do not.
Nope. I've got opium, so I won't care.
I've got opium. Does that work? Can we burn that?
But then I don't care if it
What balls?
Like I said, I won't care what it looks like outside. So it'll be fine.
Well,
I have a lot of drugs.
not far from here, almost a stone's throw away, is Vauxhall Manor. It's a lavish 2-story home surrounded by a wrought iron fence. It's well lit inside. You can see candles burning in behind the kind of blown glass. And you were welcomed inside the manor by this pale majordomo, this woman of an age, who is clearly the like I said, the majordomo for Lord Franklin Vauxhall.
And Mike's got the names right, because I didn't have anything to do with
She
it.
pauses for a moment and she introduces herself. Welcome to Vauxhall Manor. My name is Edith Weinstein.
I don't know what you have.
May I inquire the reason for your visit?
Yes, Master Weinstein. I'm Inspector Richen. I'm here from the Vorburg Council, and I was requested to find Maximilian Stiga. I've been helping the local constable with all the murders, disappearances, and everything, and we have found your lordship's 2 valets.
She widens her eyes. Proctor and Hale.
Yes. They are in the inn right now. Witchhammer had killed them, and we need to speak with his lordship immediately.
Lord Vauxhall is in the parlor. Please come with me. With tiny little steps she walks. She's all maybe like 4'11". Like she's of an elder age too. Her little feet kind of carry her. She's like an old aging babushka, like an old grandmother. But she's dressed in the majordomo's like clothing. She's clearly like the second here, as I would call it. Like she's probably the mistress of below the stair and the lord above the stair, so to speak. We're thinking about like
Are you giving us the Downton Abbey speech?
Downton Abbey, yeah. And you come into a parlor, a well-lit parlor, in fact, and you can see that this place is. There are a great number of works that are hanging on the walls along here. There are many books stuffed along shelves. There are decanters of something to drink, and right as you walk in, you see this massive painting of a significantly younger man. That younger man is young and virile, and he's holding a paintbrush and has a thin wisp of a mustache. Seated directly beneath of it, at his desk, is Lord Franklin Vauxhall, who has clearly aged several years, but it is clearly a spitting image of him perhaps when he was a younger person. Oh, I was not expecting any guests this evening. Forgive me. He sits up from his desk with great ponderance. He kind of picks himself up and he walks over, and he kind of holds his back straight, and he's kind of he's kind of crossing his arms like this. Forgive me. Edith, the major domo, will introduce each of you. Crackle the warm fire kind of welcomes you inside. It's a very comfortable, warm place, despite the fact that you're kind of, you're soaked to the bone at this point. No, I am Lord Franklin Vauxhall. Yes, that Lord Franklin Vauxhall. And who might you be?
I thought she introduced
Yeah,
herself.
yeah.
I'm just gonna get to the chase here. Is Eva still in the room?
She has excused herself and she's closed the pocket doors.
Okay. We've found your men. They're dead. Witchhammer has killed them, brutally beat and tortured them to try and find out more about your organization. We know about the Muse. We know about your worship. We know that you're kidnapping people and sending them to this Muse. We know everything. Now, is Maximilian still alive?
Well, he seems he's clearly been, you kind of unload all this information on him, and he stumbles on his words from us to holding his hand back and says, well,
Your men are in the inn. If you want to have somebody go claim them.
Where's the constable? Where's Anaya?
The constable's been kidnapped by Warhammer because of all the shit that you've stirred up in this town. Or sorry, I said Warhammer.
You said Warhammer.
Sorry.
Everything was fine until Witchhammer came.
Whoa.
Swanzi was at peace and...
Yeah. We've heard all this before, your lordship. It was at peace because you were sacrificing others for this peace. Great news for you. I just am here for Max. No more stories, no more giantess and muse and nonsense. I don't care. You can continue your happy life here. Give me Max. You can have your people, and we'll clean up the Warhammer thing, or the Witchhammer thing for you.
He pauses.
So that's it.
Forgive me,
No.
This business with Stiga was not my doing. That I can tell you.
It was not your doing.
Nay, it was Reverend Mother Olivia.
Why are you two blaming each other for the same thing? She's blaming you, you're blaming her. Which is true?
Where is he?
Where is Max?
He turns around and looks toward a door behind him. There are chambers beneath Swanzi.
Yes, below the chapel.
Below all of Swanzi.
Oh, yeah. Is he missing any fingers?
He's holding a hand back.
We're waiting to see if that hand happens to come out.
I apologize you've been drawn into this mess. Reverend Mother Olivia she is gone balmy, as they say in City of Lights.
I'm scrutinizing him this whole time because I think he's a liar.
Yeah.
And I think he's also missing a finger.
Oh, he definitely is. He's holding his arm back.
Yeah.
His hand's been clearly wounded.
Yeah.
None of this was supposed to happen. And then Reverend Mother Olivia insisted that to appease the Muse that something greater was required. More than just the petty sacrifices we had made. Blood, our own. We sought to harm no one, but Reverend Mother Olivia felt that the Muse's power was either waning or perhaps was growing more hungry. Inspiration had been coming to the Reverend Mother more and more often. she was greedily taking from the muse. That's when this whole thing started.
You were initially doing petty sacrifices, but she had convinced you to do lesser.
Look, he holds his hand out as he's kind of like, at this point, he knows the jig is up.
Yeah.
He says, look, the movement, we, the Fulci, we are not killers. That is not who we are. We have appeased the muse, knowing who Swanzi was before she became the muse, had given to this land. This place was safe. Then the adherents came, and Reverend Mother Livia came, and the Fulci were turned upside down, and they began to gather around her like she was some sort of representative of the muse. We had only given small sacrifices for the inspiration, taken small bits of inspiration here and there, but not without our own sacrifice. He holds up a bandaged hand. Not the one where he lost his finger, though. But the muse's hunger is hard to slake. It no longer speaks to us as it does with Mother Olivia, and I feel something dark is growing beneath. Very dark indeed.
So, are there cells below your facility that Max is in?
There are not cells beneath Swanzi. There are the remnants of Swanzi beneath Swanzi. Her great body spans both sides of the river.
The corpse.
And where's Max? In these catacombs? Or is he dead?
If he is anywhere, he'll be beneath. That is for certain.
Can you lead us there?
I can... There are a pair of aligned keys that open doors beneath Swanzi into the Muse's lair. One is here, and the other is at the chapter house in the sacristy. Both are warded by Reverend Mother Olivia. Only with this key can you pass easily beyond. I have not dared go below in the last month or two. Something is wrong. Something is terribly wrong.
So in order for us to go below, we would need for revered Mother Olivia to take us below.
I have the other key. But as I said, I don't know what to expect.
So in order, I believe...
What did you used to expect? You would give a small sacrifice to the muse?
There are...
Like your finger?
This was a misfortunate accident to run in with Witchhammer. A local, who I believe was a spy for these people from the City of Lights.
Attacked you.
He ripped my finger off, trying to get free. Reverend Mother Livia and I were assaulted in the middle of the night. He was so vicious.
Who was the spy?
It was the man that they found dead and said no.
Edgar.
Can you give the man back his finger at least?
I mean, I don't have it.
I do.
Please.
He hold his hand up and says, to answer your question, we would make small sacrifices to the muse. There is
A goat, what? What is a small sacrifice?
Here you go.
he turns away. Puts it around. It's a corruption. A sacrifice of our own blood to intermingle with the paint, to intermingle with the stone, to intermingle with the ochre and the paintbrush, with the turpentine, and it would bring inspiration. The Fulci, the movement, has lived a very long time in Swanzi, and before the coming of Reverend Mother Olivia, we lived in peace. When Reverend Mother Olivia came with the adherents, things changed.
You said that.
The passage of time slowed. The inspiration, though, became less and less. The demands the muse made was more aggressive. The muse demanded us to draw deeper of our own life's blood, to drink from us. When we knew that it was coming to a head, it was coming to something greater than our own, that's when I knew that things were something was terribly wrong. I think the Reverend Mother Olivia has, I don't know, she has some sort of power over the Muse, or the Muse has some sort of power over her. I don't know. But it is not the same as it used to be. There are members of the movement who speak in whispered tones, but dare not say anything to her. Reverend Mother Olivia has a clutch of people, of sect within the movement who are fanatical in their worship of her, believing that she will become the Muse made flesh. She'll become Swanzi.
So this was something that was once more open to the collective, but she has put herself in a position to where no one else can say anything anymore.
That is true. We dare not act against her. She is blessed by some damnable power. She can weep upon wounds and stitch them closed. She can close doors and magically enhance them to burn those who are not faithful, who don't hold these keys. I have gained her trust over the years, but not without some great cost. I have given up a lot, and now 2 people in my own household are dead, and more probably still, for my own need to fulfill my vanity. He points toward the painting.
That doesn't look like a mirror.
What is...
I turned away from the Reverend Mother, and within weeks, I had been given this body. Age had caught up. I no longer have the inspiration.
Well, perhaps if we go and we find the other 2 witch hammers and we bring them and we have the key, we can go down below and find Maximilian.
If he's below, he's dead, right?
I don't know. The catacombs are vast. Vast.
One could call them giant.
Who do we trust here? You say the same thing that she says, but you each blame each other for the new level of violence that's going on.
Sounds like a trap.
My maker once had a saying for trust. It was trust, yet verify.
Yeah, I've got another way of doing it.
I have kept my people, he raises his hand, I have kept my servants well fed and well paid. You can ask anyone in Swanzi. Proctor and Hale lived as an extension of myself, as my right and left hand, as much as Edith. The servants and dogs' bodies they may be, and I their lord, but we were thick as thieves we were. All studies to the Muse. It did not matter our position when we were in the conclave, when we were beneath its hollowed halls, we were all equals, except for Reverend Mother Olivia. You can ask anyone in Swans and they will tell you true. They will tell you, if Proctor and Hale were here, damn, I can't believe they're gone, they would say the same.
Can I interrogate?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the two...
To validate.
Yeah, so the two of you can make your interrogate test, you can make your scrutinize test. Scrutinize is a little harder here, so yours is hard, interrogate is actually standard.
Okay.
32.
60.
27 success.
I have
Nice.
no idea what that says. That is a critical failure.
Oh
no.
Ooh. Well, you're not really sure what to read out of this, and I think Tim kind of like what you mentioned before, like as a person, like the fact that stories are conflicting probably means that Inspector Richard's probably very conflicted too. Like
Right.
there's no, you can't really read whether or not he's being truthful or not. You, however, get a feeling that he's trying to protect himself, and maybe he's not telling the whole truth, but most of it seems like he's not providing a smokescreen. Like he seems to believe that Reverend Mother Olivia has some sort of power over the Muse, or the Muse has some power over her.
Okay.
You don't know which.
Okay. Well,
you wish to go beneath, if you wish to go into the catacombs, I will give you this key freely.
I don't wish to face your demon.
He relinquishes the key and puts it in Matt Maryland's hand.
I'll tuck it away. Now,
There's a door in here and also in the cathedral.
He nods. There are no doors to the Fulci conclave. It was never intended. None of this was never intended until Rivermother Olivia came, and that's when she discovered what is beneath Swanzi, the secret of Swanzi. The stories are all true. All true.
He said the name.
Well, your men are in the inn, in room
surely
213.
213.
By the gods, I don't think I'm going to leave my manor until the constable is found. I cannot simply send Edith to go fetch them. I would ask for the constable. There's only 498 souls in Swansea.
Would you have any eyes on these witch hammers before today? Any inkling where
He
they might be
shakes his
hiding?
head. Rivermother Olivier always spoke about the shadow of the witch hammer constantly in on her tail, but we never seen nor heard of anything regarding that until recency. In truth, it is not my business. I am a painter. I am no spy. I'm no spy master. I came to Swansea to retire, to study.
I feel a sense of urgency. I feel like we should go and find Anaya.
Right, but
As you
where
wish.
would we look?
Where though?
The tankard. We
Let's
shall
go.
see if we
Okay.
can find anything.
Wait,
And-
so how long have you been here at Swansea?
30 years?
How old does he look at this point?
Probably in his 60s.
I thought she said it was 100.
I'm looking up at the painting. How old does the painting look? You said-
Old?
You said, oh, I thought you said young.
Old?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
how old
the
is it, but I don't
age
know,
of him in the
age of
painting?
the
He looks young in the painting.
like 20s. We talking?
Yeah, probably.
He said he lost his form once he
Yeah, but
Stop.
didn't align with the Reverend Mother.
math just doesn't add up.
Right, because he used to look young, is what his implication was.
That's correct.
Right. It just okay.
So if we go to the tankard, perhaps even if we don't find them there, Gaston will have seen where they've gone. It'd be a clue.
Maybe.
Try.
It's our best lead so far.
Or we go
But,
below.
Yeah. What?
Or we go below.
Want to try to open a door we can't open?
We got the key.
We got one. You said it takes two.
No, we can enter through his door right here.
Oh, is that it?
Let's
Well, do
go.
you
Oh, I'm
want the-
sorry I was not clear. There are 2 doors and 2 keys. This
He won the trust, and she allowed him to one of the keys.
So
So we can use your key to go through this door.
I gave it to Master Maryland, yes.
Don't
Oh.
you? And you'll come with us.
well,
I don't think so. I don't think I will.
What if
surely
we-
you know the way.
You know the way, and what if we insist, since we have found your men, and
There's only one person who knows their way through beneath Swansea, and that is River Mother Olivia herself. There is a... God's looking back on this, it's embarrassing. The ritual to meet the muse is to wander blindly in the darkness until you find the light of inspiration at her feet. The statue, the Nephilim, the statue of her beneath the city. There are 3 of them, you know.
No.
oh,
Did?
There's one in the chapter house that Reverend Mother Olivia carved herself. There was one here in my back parlor that we worked on together. And there is another in the far room in the conclave, 3 Nephilim statues.
Let's take a look then.
Yeah, no.
He will take you back into his parlor, and you see this huge drop cloth covering a very large object. As he pulls it away, you find this. The statue. The Vauxhall Nephilim statue. Right here.
Okay.
There was also the other that you found too in the chapter house behind the triptych. I'll put these back on the game master screen when you're finished looking. There's a third in the conclave. Like this one here, as he pulls the drop cloth off, you can see that there's a hammer and chisel resting beside it. Rhythm of the Olivia says that these edifices of worship bring the muse power. But there was only one altar where, in the darkness below, that our sacrifices are made beneath the light of the muse. So truly, I cannot lead you below. It has always been darkness, and it was blinding. And frankly, no pun intended, he says, his name is Lord Franklin Vauxhall, I wouldn't even know what to do. I have soft hands.
If these edifices bring your power, I think that they should be destroyed before we go beneath, for our own safety. Would you deface this statue for us, please?
I crafted this over a decade. This was perhaps some of my greatest works.
I didn't say it would be easy, but would you do it?
How will you convince him? What will you use there, Mr. Rob?
I'll hand him the pistol.
It worked before! To be fair, you've gotten pretty far so far just talking with him frankly. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I think
Well, you came
that
with
Inspector Riching kind of laid it out. I mean, the whole plot laid bare.
Right.
You don't have to do it yourself if you don't want to. I can.
I'm playing this alignment.
I just want your consent before I do so. I'm trying to appeal to his.
Convince him.
Yeah, his
bowling
you know.
through.
I don't want him to put him through the misery of having to do it himself. I'll offer.
So bargain.
Yeah.
Can I assist with the bargain?
You have a skill rank?
I do.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be probably hard.
Okay.
As I said, it was his work.
All right. So, yeah, this is not good. 25% chance to succeed, and that is not a success.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'll take that.
There's all
It is
sorts of
fortunate.
reasons not to.
There's a critical failure.
Oh.
I am so sorry. I can't. He stands in front of he stands in front of it. I labored over this for nearly a decade with Reverend Olivia, certainly under her tutelage, but this is one of my greatest works. And he starts to talk through like what he went through and the calluses on his hands, the long nights and the laboring over whether or not that this would be that the muse would find this representation of who she used to be before when she was still the giantess, the Nephilim, like it would be appropriate. Like he oftentimes wondered late at night whether or not it would still be acceptable to him that the muse would like somehow punish him for not doing it correctly. But he swears up and down this is the last thing that he worked on, the last time he received inspiration, and he's not touched a hammer and chisel since. I simply cannot let you. He puts his hands.
You'd send us to our doom.
What do you mean send you to your doom? I don't understand.
You said the Reverend Mother said the muse draws its power from these edifices. If we're to destroy or deface them, we would be more safe down there with its decreased power.
So sorry, I cannot let you do that. He puts his hands over it. It's my life's work. It's
My
my
life is-
magnum opus. He uses those words.
My life is in danger as I pull the pistol. Stand aside.
Okay, so as you move to threaten him, you gain a corruption, and you will. And do you want to take the hammer chisel and just you want to split this, break it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now let's mark this. Why not? That's
other
the
one.
correct one. Yeah. So it's over here, right?
Yep.
So you take the hammer and chisel, and you destroy, and see kind of. He can't even look.
I apologize. It had to be done.
As you destroy the Vauxhall Nephilim statue. Oh my goodness. What is left? What is left of me? What have I done?
You still have your life.
What is life without creation? What is the life of a creator if his creations are gone? His inspiration is gone. I have lived my life here in service of the muse, and now nothing is left. Rebel. Dust.
Let's move on. We've got a couple of other statues to destroy. Then we'll head below.
Matt will like pat him on the shoulder and say, "You still live, so you can still create again. Maybe new inspiration without the mother. Your own inspiration."
What more will come of your life? I cannot tell you your odds, but you have my sympathies.
He does not put at ease by any of those words as you all take the hammer and chisel.
I mean,
And you walk out into
I mean,
the
you
storm.
made shit for 30 years without her. I'm just saying.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it just goes walking out.
And you walk out into the storm with hammer and chisel in hand,
I don't fucking understand.
ready
all this. I
to
swear to God.
and where are the bad
to do
people?
whatever you're going to do.
Where are the bad people?
Hey, I didn't kill anyone.
We haven't killed anyone
No
either.
one's dead, right?
I mean, no.
I totally
Not
killed
Not
somebody.
yet, someone.
You
Yeah, I was gonna say, and you turned 2 people over to a murderess.
Oh no, I am all of those things.
To
Yeah.
the martyr.
They sat in a room where somebody got tortured and did nothing about it.
I'm all about that. I don't believe in the soldier's defense.
Just saying. We are neutral, bordering on
Anybody
Where-
that uses the soldier's defense, you obviously know they're obviously
so
At least we're not using
so
that. Like,
you're
what we're
outside
doing.
of Vauxhall Manor, and when he kind of mentioned like the that Swanzi is here across both sides of the river, you can almost picture it when you came in on the barge. Like you saw the tall hills that looked like a spine, like on the horizon where you saw the 3 buildings. And you saw on the east shore, like where parts of the lower parts of the city were recessed into the earth, and you can imagine standing among the dark shadows of these hills that you were literally standing on the body of this giant. The village has been built atop its resting corpse, and it must be massive. Whatever god had died here, had drawn, in the story that Marcus told you, had taken the hammer and chisel and drew the backs down here from the mountains and made this a fertile valley. That the stories are true, that the if they are to be believed, and that this giant was because the word Nephilim in the Holy Libra literally translates to God, or demigod, if you will.
All right, let's go to the full tanker.
I thought we were headed towards the concourse,
The conclave.
or conclave.
Oh, you want to destroy that statue too?
Uh huh.
All right, I'll wait outside.
Okay.
The Congress.
The conclave.
Conclave. Concourse? That's an
The
airport.
The conclave. Yeah.
The Concord.
Concord. Concord grapes.
The doors to the conclave are open, of course, and you can see the rain. You can still see the rain outside as you come within. It's warm. And it's bathed in like these bronze and golden light from candles. There are many great works hanging up on the walls. There are many great statues. Of course, there are these circles of, button chairs around where people could sit and speak in the parlor to one another. The conclave is completely empty.
Nice.
In a dark hallway, well beyond where one would know to look, you find this wood-paneled room. and these very tall, soaring glass windows that rise from the floor to the ceiling. There's huge drapes in front of it, and this room is not lit save for the lightning outside, and you see the shape and shadow of the Nephilim Swanzi resting up on a massive slab, like almost relaxing, like with one arm underneath of their head. And you're not really sure if this is to be a woman or a man. The body doesn't seem to really tell what they're supposed to be, but they have a wrap around their head and around their waist, or kind of almost like, imagine like an ancient Grecian statue, kind of lazing upon its side, and there's a hammer and chisel resting beside the stone slab, almost as if it was laying there ritualistically. Once the labor was complete, as you find the conclave Nephilim statue.
Set to work on it.
I'm outside, by the way. I don't want no part of this.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with this.
Chink, clunk, chink, clunk. I'll take that back, by the way. I'll also mark it over here. Yeah. As you bring the second statue to destruction.
One to go.
It has been thoroughly destroyed. Well, it's been broken, I should say. It took a lot to break it, or to destroy it completely. You're not going to pulverize it, but a hammer and chisel is enough to at least lob its head off and sever its leg from the base.
Right, that's good enough for me.
This thing probably weighs a good 500 plus pounds made of solid marble. It was once a beautiful work, and
Was.
Miserabus wants to see the world burn and destroy beautiful things. You're the person who wanders through the flower field and snaps them off the top of the stem.
There's a chance it could be dangerous.
No kidding. Back in. So you destroy this statue, I guess. And there's literally nobody in the conclave. All these great works they've turned out, likely before and during Reverend Mother Olivia's reign, still stands unmolested, including the fall of man, which is what Reverend Mother Olivia pointed out to you initially, which she called one of the myriad of works by Malin Fulci, the founder of the movement, some number of decades ago. Mm-hmm. But no Fulci movement members are here. None of them are sitting in those little tight circles of chairs talking about things and sharing the devil weed and drinking tea, doing what French philosophers do in parlors in 1735. None of them are taking laudanum and they're not navel gazing. Yeah, they're not drinking absinthe. No navel gazing Fulci movement members here to be found. And on the surface, you wouldn't find them. You wouldn't think that they'd be violent anyhow. They're a bunch of artists,
Right.
Right.
liberally minded artists who are probably the furthest thing from violent people. But
They are.
Lord Franklin Vauxhall did say that there is a sect of them, a clutch of them who worship her. I mean, you did see them bow to her. Remember, those people who were around. That she introduced 3 people: an 11-year-old, a poet, a sculptor, and a writer.
Right. To the full tankard then.
All right.
They come out covered in sweat.
That's right. Phew. Well, the full tankard is also fairly, as you walk inside, the first thing that you see is a man almost like a pirate. He's got 1 foot on the bottom on the seat of a chair and 1 foot on the back of it, and he's raising a mug and says, "3 toasts to Swanzi!" As Marcus says so with the others who are around. They all drink deeply. The place smells of grog. The air is thick with smoke and pipeweed. "Welcome back," Marcus says. "You're positively soaked to the bone. Did you find yourselves a room at my brother's place, the Slumber Inn?"
Not yet.
You were quite good at that.
What is that?
Well, no one sells like you do.
That is my job.
No one sells like Gaston. No one toasts like Gaston.
No. Have you seen Vaughn and
Zara.
The Haywoods. Oh, they came by earlier to get their supplies, but then they just kind of left. They said they came back to settle up a few accounts, and they waited for a few moments, and after that, nothing. And they just disappeared into the street. I assume they went back to the Slumber Inn to talk to their guild mistress, Abe.
When
No,
did they leave?
did. They can't do that anymore.
When did they leave?
Have you seen your brother?
No. Now I'm a little worried. What are you saying? He kind of leans in closer.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I
Well, you're asking about my brother, if I'd seen him, and I would assume he's at the Slumber Inn. Then you said something curious about the Hayworths.
Yeah, we need to find the Haywards.
Oh, shite.
The streets are dangerous tonight.
Aye.
When did
He
they
kind of
leave?
scratches his head. Oh, a few hours, I think. I can't rightfully say. It's after you all had left. I mean, right before the sun went down, or at least the rain wasn't as storming as bad as it was.
Do you know if they have a storehouse for all their wares?
Well, they'd been keeping everything at the Slumber Inn, carting it back and forth, like.
Okay. Any other places they tend to visit?
Just the one
Hey.
yellow house, right? Well, you might check on your brother.
Where's the constable? He says. Do I need to talk to Anaya about this? Now I'm really worried.
No, you can't find Anaya. The Haywoods kidnapped her.
Oh! He gonna why? Whoa! Oh shit! He says, Holden, throw the bolt on the door. Get this, everybody! Please listen for a moment. And he brings the place to a close. The constable's been taken, and the people are like, there's lots of gasps in the air, and
Yeah.
his husband goes over and shutters the door and begins to close the windows, and people are kind of confused, and he starts to try to calm he's basically talking to the crowd, more or less, working them. Not in the sense of like buy more booze, but like
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
like yeah, they're gonna be locked in
We're
there.
all gonna
But
die.
he's genuinely concerned, obviously. This is not just a selfish endeavor. His brother is missing, the constable is missing.
The brother's not missing.
Well, we don't know where he is.
Look,
Technically missing.
we need to go back out. Lock the door behind us. Only open it for us or Anaya.
Aye. And don't let anybody in, I trust.
I would especially not let the Haywoods in. They will probably try
They're
to.
dangerous.
Yes.
Well, they kidnapped the constable. Of course they're dangerous.
Okay.
But, I mean, if they're not here and they're not at the Slumber Inn, they gotta be somewhere holding up.
I
Are
cannot
there any
say.
abandoned buildings in Swanzi?
Nay.
One of the houses of the missing people?
Warehouse, maybe.
Where is Lander's home?
She lives along the dockyards. Now she lives literally on the dock and lean-to. Insist on being close to the river. She did before she went missing.
Have you seen the constable's cart?
He shrugs. It's been storming. Cats and dogs outside.
All right. If they come, stay inside.
All right, master. Just keep the door closed and locked. If you see my brother, tell him to come here at once so we can keep him safe here.
We will.
Please. He
We will.
pleads.
Do our best. But
That's not helping. Let's.
To the
So we
chapter, to the chapter house.
to where?
One more.
I mean, I don't.
We need to find Anaya first. You can destroy the statue when you. Are we outside at least?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
Before
outside
we,
now.
you can go on your crazy destruction path afterwards.
Anaya is below the city. You have to know that by now.
No.
Why would
Why would
which
she be?
why would Witchhammer take him there?
Also, how would they get her down there?
They would need one of these bloody keys.
Unless you're telling me.
I mean, we didn't see a cart at the Vauxhall Manor. I didn't notice a cart outside the cathedral, church or chapel, whatever you call it.
That's the only two ways in. We need to find.
Okay.
If we find the
Okay.
cart, we find a knife.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
So
I'll save it for later then.
We're closest to the dock. Let's see if we can't find Lander's shack, and then I guess Maximilian's house. They're the only two homes that are open. And these people would know that, and they obviously broke into Maximilian's at one point. She stated that directly.
Well, then, yeah, I say we go to Maximilian's house and take a look around
Landers is right here.
there. Oh.
Because the dock is literally right here, right?
Yeah, it's a stone's throw away, and there's nobody there.
Nobody there.
It's literally
no cart, nothing.
it's literally not even
It is a
lean
shack.
to. It's a shack on
Okay.
the river where she can bring it, where she can welcome. She's a dock master. She has to be in the dock. There's nothing in there. No signs of anything being out of sorts. Just like Constable Naya said, all the food stores are still there.
Okay.
Although small, her food stores are there for the winter, but nothing has been disrupted at all.
Maximilian's and
We can start keeping an eye out as we walk. Yes.
You can go back to Maximilian's.
it's the only other place that. I mean, there's only two places that are empty, right?
Back in West Shore, back in his home, once again, the only thing that's in here are the same muddy boot prints that are now dry that you left earlier today.
Thoughts? I don't know. I don't know where they would take it. That was my. I was
Where the
grasping at straws, but
Where the refugees camped at?
Well, there's a few in West Shore Alley. The prominent ones are now dead.
yeah, they're all dead
Okay.
or below,
Huh?
missing.
Maybe if we go back to Anaya's, maybe. I don't know, maybe somebody else can look for some tracks. At this point, that's the only thing I got.
With all this rain, you're not going to find anything after this.
Well, I don't know, maybe if we look at some of the side streets, maybe there'll be some tracks somewhere there we can find.
It's been storming all day since you arrived. There are no tracks to be found. To be clear,
That'd
there
be
are
just
no
because.
tracks to be found. It's literally storming all day.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
And everywhere that you've been at this point, you've traipsed in mud and blood everywhere.
We want to go back to the inn to see if they've gone there. I mean, there's multiple rooms.
This is what I refer to as turning the screws. All of you need to make a challenging resolve test as you begin to, as you're kind of coming frayed at the very end. You can feel the weight of the endeavor in front of you.
Oh wow. Success.
I failed.
Any rerolls? No. Those who failed. Those who are friends with Constable Anaya suffer 9 mental peril and gain 6 corruption from fear. Your Inspector Richin, you suffer 6 mental peril and gain 3 corruption from stress. It's only a matter of time. The clock is ticking. You can feel the pressure building, especially that you've kind of ran down all leads. That every crime scene that you've left in your wake has been once again covered in mud and blood. There is nowhere else to go in your investigations. It all leads back to one of 2 places: the chapter house or below.
There's no more leads left. We go to the chapter house, we destroy the statue, and we go below.
Is that what you all want to do?
It's the only thing we can do.
All right. I still don't know where these Haywoods are, but let's
Well.
head back there.
To be fair,
To be fair.
someone is actually obviously lying if it's got to be either Vauxhall or,
They're
the
both lying.
priestess. Well, no. Give me a second. And they can get in there. Which means, why wouldn't they have potentially just thrown Anaya and those 2 down there? I mean, if we're gonna be frank about it, there's no one else to hide, right?
I mean,
You got me. I don't know. I mean,
Unless they're held up in somebody's house, and I don't think we're gonna go door to door and go, "Excuse me, you got a one-legged constable and 2 people who are pretending to sell fabric that smell like death." Well, I don't
do we
think
know where
that's
Anaya lives?
there at the at her
She
house,
lives there.
constable house.
She bunks there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess we just go back.
All right.
Where are you going to? I'm sorry.
Chapter house.
Chapter house?
You come to the doors of the chapter house as the gravestone looms before you, and you can see the statues of the martyr weeping in the rain. The rain trickles down its face over the set of double doors. The "No Services Today" sign has been removed, and the door is partially open.
That's not fucking ominous now, is it?
Let's go on in.
Step inside.
Right. The storm dies down as you come within. These hollowed halls of the martyr don't feel so hollowed anymore. This is some sort of facade for something far more nefarious that's been going on. Whether Vauxhall was being completely truthful is hard to say, but either way, you do not get the same sort of feeling of like reverence when you walk in here. It now just feels, it puts you very much ill at ease. You can see muddy boot prints have traipsed back and forth along the red plush carpet. The body of Father Pierre is still beneath the canvas cloth, undisturbed. But you can see the muddy boot prints go all along the back of the altar toward the sacristy beyond the triptych.
Is there anyone in the main chamber?
No.
Right, I'll head towards the rear.
I'll check the rooms.
Dorms upstairs?
So is this where we got to go through like 4 levels of the church basement and then 4 levels of the catacombs?
So you go to the
Butchers
dorms
in the
and you open the dorms and nobody's inside. The beds are just as they were before.
Okay.
We found a leg.
We did find a leg.
It's a Diablo reference, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Works
Oh.
Sure
All
is.
we need is a book and a cube.
So the dorms have not been changed since you went through them before.
Okay.
The beds were
I
never
did.
rested with. There's no boot prints in here, save for the ones you left before that dried up.
No.
I'm gonna get into the mother's room.
As you approach the mother's room, something is a little different about this. There are these little brass pieces that have been hammered into the door, like this almost kind of like characteristic, kind of like runic-looking thing. Not the same as it was before. You gonna open the door?
No, I'm gonna take those runes out of the.
You're gonna touch
Yeah.
the rooms.
Take that. Yeah.
Okay. You need to roll a challenging resolve test.
And the caster's over there like, no.
Oh wait, success.
Okay. You feel this this tense pain lands throughout you as you place your hands out and you're knocked off your feet as you suffer 9 damage.
Okay.
The same feeling that Ms. Rob described before at the door below, you just experienced here too.
I'm gonna take out my blackjack and I'm gonna throw it at it.
Okay.
As I'm gonna try to destroy him.
Oh, cool. So go ahead and make a skullduggery test. This will be routine.
Alright, routine. That's gonna be a 54. I'm way underneath there, so we're just gonna roll this for 10s. That's a 0, so 0-8.
Nice. You throw at the door a couple times. The little brass pins that were hammered into, like these little kind of runic-looking things, are like knocked off the door.
Okay. We're gonna try opening the door again.
Okay. Make a challenging resolve test again.
That's a 19.
Oh, you're once again knocked off. I'm assuming you succeeded.
Yeah, 16.
Okay. You're once again knocked off your feet as you suffer 5 damage.
Okay. I am now lightly wounded. It was lightly wounded. Now I'm mildly wounded.
Oof.
Let's roll d6.
Oh, it's just magic damage. You don't.
Oh,
There's no chance for injury.
Okay.
Yeah, there's something powerful is protecting this door.
Huh. So even though I have this key, I can't get in.
You put the key in the hole.
Let's try it.
Okay. Push the door open.
Sure.
It opens.
All right. Well, now I know how to open the other door too. So let's go in.
Yeah. So inside of her room, it looks like a lot of things have been gathered, like hastily. Like you can see that her trunks have been packed, like in case, like that perhaps that she's preparing to leave in case something really bad happens. All of the schematics you saw at the chapel were taken off the wall. The pictures of the triumvirate of the 3 Nephilim statues are still up there, which look eerily similar to the ones you saw in the conclave, in the in Lord Vauxhall Manor, and the one behind the triptych down below
To be
in the
fair,
sacristy.
not anymore.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to gather up the schematics and I'll take the drawings as well.
Yeah, you gather those things up and stuff them into your packs. Like this validates perhaps what Ms. Rob thought.
I'm also going to see if I can find 600 gold.
You find no crowns to be had in here. You would imagine, typically, though, you would know that the church keeps its riches inside the altar.
Right.
Right.
Well, he's doing that. No.
While he's doing that, I'm throwing Father Pierre's body off the altar. No. So you come back downstairs
God offered pay.
and there's this kind of...
I
You all can see this
I'm
kind of...
also going to take the medical kit.
Oh, yeah.
I am taking the medical kit now.
So it's 3 laudanum and 3 smelling salts and 3 tincture.
All right. Well, I'm going to take one smelling salt and 1 laudanum.
Okay.
Immediately.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
So that's 2 corruption. Glug, 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 glug. Oh, my gosh. Do you want to take the
Where's
rest of
the
the
drugs?
rest of the kit, though?
Oh yeah. No, I'm still taking everything.
It's also a surgeon's tools.
All right.
Yeah. So as Matt Maryland returns within 10 minutes, and he has this kind of like frazzled look on his face, like in the same look you saw up on Ms. Rob's face when he came out from behind the triptych. You can see on Matt's face as he's drinking a small tincture and like does the amyl nitrate, the smelling salt. He's like, his eyes are fucking super dilated.
Yeah.
Like he, yeah. Let's be clear, adventurers on a ton of drugs in Zweihander.
Yeah.
It's the only way you can really get through the.
You put the
intense
key in
pain.
first and then open the
If
door.
it's 10 minutes, I actually would go through the altar, now that I think about it.
You want to remove Father Pierre's body from the altar?
I want to see if she's hiding something under a body. So yeah.
Okay, so you desecrate Father Pierre's body through corruption.
Cool.
Yeah, and you open up the altar, and it's loaded with coins and brass shillings, gold crowns, countless. You see that there is no ledger of the amount of money that's likely kept somewhere else. Perhaps perhaps that was kept by Father Pierre, but it's very, very evident that this is where the donations to the temple were kept, and the other amount of money, the rest of the money was probably invested in like building this place and other places. You
Is there
imagine that.
anything other than money in there?
No, it's just kind of coins kept in satchels and small locked boxes and kept safe from rattling around and well accounted for in like little I don't know, leather sleeves, almost like imagine like a scroll tube. Coins are inside of like a penny roll, but like big for coins.
I'll see you later. And she's gonna put the lid back on the altar for
Okay.
now and put the body back on it.
Okay.
Was there a cart outside of the chapter house? I'll even go outside and look if I need to.
Yes.
Cart is here.
Damn it, let's get down there then.
Can we?
We have the key.
You put the key in first, and then you turn it, and then you open the door.
So like a normal
It's
door.
back here.
Oh, you want to destroy this statue too?
Yeah.
He's doing that one.
That's what I came for.
That's what I came here to do. That's what I came here to do. Okay.
Well, all right. Well, we got the schematics here.
We've all.
So as you're hammering on the statues, like Matt Maryland's got
Wait,
the
I have
schematics in
a
hand.
purity talisman. Do I take 2 less corruption for screwing with the dead
You
body?
gave 1 less, not 2. 1 less.
Heck yeah.
Hey, statue.
You get the schematics at the chapel, but not
Right.
below.
Okay. I didn't know if they had anything from below.
No. If
I got from one.
if Lord Voxtal's story is true, and he doesn't truly know the way below, you're going to be wandering into a place that you don't know.
I got a lantern.
All right, we look for footprints before we walk in, and we follow those prints.
Okay.
They're all over in here.
I know, but down
Down below.
below.
Wait a minute, though.
But it might just be rock. Who knows? We'll see.
What did Lord Franklin say about down below? That it was the
You walk around in darkness until the inspiration finds you.
and the giant is down there.
Sure.
So we're going to see a giant down there.
No,
Yeah.
it's the giant's corpse.
We're gonna find the muse in there.
Which could be soul.
So we're going to go and see the giant's corpse.
Yes.
Into the corpse.
Like,
It's hollow, I
We're
think.
going into the corpse.
Yes.
So if we're going into the corpse, then just remember that the leg bone is connected to the knee bone. And the knee bone is connected to the thigh bone.
That's a good thought.
And that is how we can find our way around.
That's a good thought.
Do we know what bone we're going to be going into?
Pun with purpose. I love it.
I don't know, but hopefully,
No.
if we're lucky, we'll find the wishbone.
No.
There. All right,
I don't
guys.
think-
10:30.
Who will open the door?
It's
Matt will open the door.
As long as the
key.
statue is destroyed, I'm ready to go.
It is.
Okay.
With the turn of the key, the door yawns open, and it seems to drop into this perilous darkness of this wet, muddy, earthen stairwell. And like it was carved of the earth and stone itself. Like there's no like flagstone down here. It looks like you're gonna descend down into like a rough, man-made, muddy cave. I just need to know your marching order, and then we will stop for the night. Actually, let's do marching order right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So who's first? Probably Matt. You got the key.
You open the door.
I mean, I open the door. I'm a gentleman. I'll let
Well,
the
we do
ladies go
need
first.
somebody with a light. So who wants to go first?
I don't have light.
Matt, here's my light.
I got guns.
You all wanted to.
You're looking for your man. You go first.
All right.
I'll go.
Who's going first?
I'll go first.
Okay. So, Miserable.
I'll go second.
I conjure a light in my own hand, carrying it.
We'll get to that next game because you are in a perilous situation. So you actually need to make an incantation test to do so. Who's after Inspector Wretched? Normally I'd just be like, you cast your spell, there's no risk. But I
Right.
think that in a situation where the clock is ticking and that tensions are high, we'll have to have you make a test next time.
I'll go.
So after that is Geppetto. Who's after Geppetto?
I'll go.
Giuseppe.
Okay.
Just
Giuseppe, I know. Grafala. And then Matt Maryland at the very end.
Sure.
The guy who instituted us to sign the deal
Hey.
is taking up the rear.
So we will continue next week with the final frightening conclusion of Secrets of Swanzi. Thank you all for watching. Check out, if you like this awesome Zweihander content, be sure to check out Grim Imperialist Studios, grimperialist.com. Head to the Patreon where you can find more exciting game content, some new games that are non-Zweihander as well, and awesome reviews of board games. Otherwise, we will see you all for session 5. It'll probably be the final one. We'll see what happens. But thank you for watching.
All right.
Bye.
I
Bye.